Welcome back, everybody. It is week 3 in the CSL MTG Arena League. I am your host, Rob Gonzalez, otherwise known as Rob AJG. And if you've been playing Magic in Standard for, any amount of time, you know that there is that one boogeyman. There is that one deck that seems to be, a little bit overrepresented in the metagame right now, and that deck is the Simic Food deck. So what I did is I went out and found someone who is working for one of the larger websites right now, does a lot of buying and selling of standard cards, modern cards, everything on that side, but also is really good at Magic, and that person is Mr. Frank Lepore. What's going on, Frank?
What's going on, Rob? Pleasure to be here. I like Magic and I like talking about Magic, so we should have a good time today.
And we've been doing it for a long time now, so it's a matter of.
I don't want to
how
talk
long
about
has it been?
it,
How long have you been playing Magic for now?
Longer than like the average age of a Magic player, I think.
That's not that hard. I mean, I've been playing Magic for
true.
26 years now, and I think the average age is probably like 20.
It's a lot higher now, yes.
Yeah.
Or no, I mean it's a lot lower. Right? The number of years we've been playing, it's a lot higher now. That's what I mean.
And it's only going to get worse. So I mean, my son is now 4 years old, and he wants to start playing
That's
Magic.
true.
So, but for you, for not everybody who might know who you are, because again, us folks who have gray hair and things like that, maybe they don't know who you are. So tell them who Frank Lepore is.
To be fair, my hair prematurely grayed, so it's been gray for quite some time. That's not an age thing. Yeah, I've been playing Magic for a long time. I've made professional Magic content for about 10 years now. I've written for TCG Player, Channel Fireball, Cool Stuff Inc. I have a Pro Tour top 8 and a Grand Prix top 8.
Oh, snap.
In 2014, I went to the Magic Online Community Cup, which was super fun. And yeah, I feel like I've done it all. I've been a jack of all trades in terms of Magic content and accomplishments. So, I'm okay with my resume, so hopefully we can have some sweet insights into this very interesting standard format.
Well, and it's funny because I think the last time we were at a Pro Tour was in Hawaii, maybe, and maybe it was Hawaii. I don't know. It was some place not in the mainland United States, but it's how you prep for tournaments is always very strange, and it's always different from team to team. And this week we have the Ohio State University, and we have the Milwaukee School of Engineering. And not everybody knows who the Milwaukee School of Engineering is, but they're undefeated. So you got to put some respect on that name because they're looking. I will
do that. I will sure do
exactly. That. Don't you forget who MSOE is. I think they're the Red Raiders or something to that effect. It's kind of like Texas Tech.
You know what's interesting is that the undefeated school right now is playing a very interesting deck selection here.
Right, and we're going to get into what the deck lists are because in Standard right now, it's either you're playing Simic Food or you're playing something that is specifically geared to destroy it. And
yes,
that's pretty much it. Like, if you're playing anything that is like, it's really good against the field, but it's not very good against Simic Food.
Just go home. Just go home.
Just wrap that one up. You don't have to worry about it.
You're in for a grueling, exhausting day, my friend.
Yeah, and because I think maybe for Season 2 of the MTG Arena League, we should do Unified Standard. I think that would be quite a bit more interesting.
But it definitely avoids any sort of metagame like this where you have a dominant deck and then everyone's just playing that deck.
Right, where it's like all three lists are the same.
And the creativity is a lot better, too.
Right, and I think, maybe we could talk about that at the halfway point and be like, hey, guys, let's just do Actually, we'll just change it next week. We'll just change it today. Listen, CSL, we're going to
listen.
We've already decided. Frank and I have decided it's going to be Unified Standard from here on out because we don't want to see mono Oko Simic Food decks. So
we know it's short notice, but we're not really concerned with that. So thanks for the accommodation.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just cancel the show now. But here's the good thing: is this week we're gonna have 3 Oko decks or Simic Food decks, however you want to say it, and that will be piloted by. Is it right? It's the same deal. That's gonna be the Ohio State University. All of them are on food, but this week. MSOE, our undefeated Milwaukee School of Engineering, none of them brought Simic Food.
That's wonderful. Those guys are the unsung heroes.
That's
today.
what I'm saying. They are the true heroes, the champions.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
And we're going to see which one of these schools is going to go undefeated. But first, we're going to go to a break. But after that break, we're going to get into our deck techs, and Frank is going to break down all of these decks and what we should see in our matches. So we'll see you in a second. A big thank you to our sponsor for this season, GameStop. GameStop is partnering with CSL in the 2019-2020 season to activate collegiate esports tournaments online and in person. Visit www.gamestop.com/esports for details about their GameStop Performance Center gaming clinics. GSPC gaming clinics are free for all players and give you an insider look at how the players you love to watch dominate the games you love to play. And remember, GameStop, power to the players. Welcome back from the break. It is now time for our deck tech, and it will be obviously myself and Mr. Frank Lepore. And we're going to start with the Ohio State University, and they are playing the Big Bad Wolf, otherwise known as Simic Food. Frank, talk to me about it.
Oh man, if you guys watched any of the Mythic Championship coverage from this past weekend, you guys know how much of a menace, so to speak, that the blue and green decks are in the standard format right now. I mentioned that in the top 4 of the Mythic Championship, there were 4 Gilded Goose, 4 Hydroid Crassus, 4 Paradise Druid, 4 Wicked Wolf, 4 Oko, 4 Nissa, and 4 Once Upon a Time in all of the top 4 decks. And that seems to be no different here.
Yeah, well, the difference I'm seeing here is just a couple little things.
Right.
Holly has 2 shifting Ceratops. Obviously, she hates me, and she hates control decks. Because,
well, this whole deck hates control decks if you're thinking about it.
That is very true. But shifting Ceratops is a whole other dinosaur when it comes to
nice.
dealing with things. But is it just the protection from blue? Is the protection from blue enough? Because obviously Oko won't be able to touch it. You can't do Aether Gust.
Can't block it with a you can't block it with a Hydroid Crassus.
Right, no stroking it.
Well, you know, it's a dinosaur, so you really want to keep your physical. You want to have your physical.
Keep it to a minimum, guys.
don't stroke the dinosaurs.
Yes.
The thing I think that shines here is the reach, the trample, or the haste, because being able to give this reach and block, say, like a Hydroid Crassus, is very valuable. But this is an interesting inclusion because the spell can't be countered is very interesting in this format because no one's trying to counter anything here, guys.
Well, Disdainful Stroke. Okay, listen. Disdainful Stroke is a real thing.
You do see it, and Mystical Dispute is also a real thing. But yeah, I mean, I guess that is valuable against the Ceratops in some situations for sure. But like the thing is, like, there's so many cards that you want a Disdainful Stroke already.
Yeah.
Voracious Hydra, Crassus, Wicked Wolf, Nissa.
Oh.
Like, there's like a murderer's row of cards that it's like these are must counter or must deal with cards basically. And the 2 Disdainful Strokes. I wish them luck, but I don't know if they're going to get the job done, really.
Yeah, and you see, just in this particular list, there's nothing too out of the ordinary. Obviously, shifting Ceratops is interesting inclusion. 4 Questing Beast.
That is a good amount, and that's a great card. I'm a big fan of Questing Beast.
Well, I mean, they just make cards just different these days, right? It's like,
oh my god, dude! Can you imagine, like 10 years ago, seeing a card like Questing Beast? You'd be like, "Are you out of your mind?"
Right. I just think about it, and for everybody at home, there used to be a time where 4 mana 4/4s was just like, that was just a good amount of mana. That was like a good return on your mana. And if I right, you know what I mean? Like
they had drawback.
Right. It was like, oh wow, if you're gonna pay 4 mana for a 4/4, it's gonna cost all right, or it's gonna cost all of your extra green spells are gonna be. It's gonna be like
it's gonna cost one more. Right, there's a tax on it or something.
Yeah, it'll be like Emerald. What is it? Is that Emerald Leech or
Emerald
whatever?
Leech, Jade Leech, I think.
Jade Leech. It was a 5/5 for 4 with like trample. But this thing is a 4/4 for 4 with Vigilance, Death Touch, Haste. Can't be blocked by creatures that are 2 power or less. Oh, by the way, combat damage that it deals. It also makes it so that combat damage wouldn't be. You can't prevent it. Why? Why does it do all of this?
I was going to attack your Planeswalker, but I really don't have to. I'll just attack your face and put your Planeswalker in the garbage can anyway.
Oh yeah, because there's another monster piece of text on this thing. And what's even crazier about the state of Standard and state of Magic today is a card like Questing Beast is not even a guaranteed 4 of in green decks. It's like, well, I mean, it
No,
is legendary. Maybe I only play one. Like now, granted, Holly is playing the full 4, but
yeah.
that is
And
not
I don't
the
even think there's
norm.
anything wrong with that. I think that's totally fine. Like, it's not the norm, right? Because it is legendary. You don't want to draw too many. But like the thing is, like, if your questing beast is alive, you're probably ahead. If it dies, you have a backup. So there's really like it's a situation where I'm like, I understand why people are playing 3 or 2, but if you want to play the full 4, I can't even be like, that's a wrong decision. It's just it seems fine.
Yeah, well, she's playing the straight blue green, so she's only playing the Simic version. She's not playing the
Yeah.
black version that gives you, the Noxious Grasp and things like that. And it's possible that that's maybe a nod to that because she knows that the first questing beast will probably get killed or something to that effect. And you want to have that second one. And you can see in her sideboard, we do have Veil of Summer, Aether Gust, Disdainful Stroke, Hydras, and she's also playing 2 main deck Hydras.
Yeah,
Some
that's another
Lovestruck
interesting
beasts.
inclusion in the main
Now
deck.
look, well, we know that it's important to be able to shut down opposing geese. It's important to shut down. Well, she doesn't have any additional mana producers outside of Paradise Druid, but there's other mana producers that sometimes you just want to be able to kill them, and Voracious Hydra does a lot of that. So,
And one of the things that's great about Voracious Hydra is that it has a semi immunity to Oko. So if you put 2 counters on your Voracious Hydra, and then Oko makes it a 3/3, it's a 5/5 now. It's the same thing with Hydroid Crassus, where making it a 3/3 is typically going to be a net. Actually, it's always going to be
right,
a net
always,
negative. Yeah,
yeah,
unless you cast it as an 0/1, which is probably unlikely.
yeah, and I think a Hydra is just a nice little removal spell because she's playing blue green, so
Mhm.
there's really not too much of in the
And you have
removal side to even be
right.
messing with. So Hydra helps to get rid of just a lot of problematic cards for blue green. And then also in the sideboard, we do see Mystical Dispute, which we have talked about is so good at dealing with those early Okos, as well as the random Tamiyo, which
That is
I
interesting.
I keep seeing this in sideboards. I'm not quite sure why just yet.
I
I
mean,
have
like if you think about all the cards in the deck, like if you're able to just go Tameo, get back a Hydroid Crassus, and then like the Tameo still survives,
You're all right. You're
like
doing all right.
it's good. But also like the +3 is also not irrelevant, or the +2, because there's so many cards in your deck that you have 4 of: 4 Crassus, 4 Oko, or the +1 rather. 4 Crassus, 4 Oko, 4
Yeah.
Wicked Wolf. All these cards that are super super relevant, and like your odds of hitting them are high. Like you have 4 of them. Like if you've drawn 2 Okos and no Nissas, search for a Nissa. It's like
Yeah. No big deal. Just go get it.
it's yeah, just go find it. No big
Yeah.
deal.
Easy
So I think the
peasy.
card is definitely they're definitely good. What's the static ability on Tameo? You can't discard or sacrifice anything.
Spells and abilities your opponents control can't make you discard or sacrifice permanents.
Yeah, that's not bad.
No, I mean that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, like also Voracious Hydra gives you a nice thing to do with all of your Nissa who shakes the world mana as well in the late game. So you have 6 X spells instead of the typical 4 with just Hydroid Crassus.
Well, I like what I see here from Holly. It's basically just your standard Simic food deck, but having the 4 questing beast and also having some extra Hydras and then the couple misers Ceratops. So let's take a look
Yeah,
at
and
her
I
teammates
like the
too.
unique touches in this deck as
Yeah,
well. So
you got to be a little different. Well, here we have Squee Squack, and now Mr. Squack is
this is
also
an interesting list.
okay. First of all, let's have a conversation.
Okay,
Let's
bring it.
listen. Is there a world where only having 2 Wicked Wolf can possibly be correct,
I was thinking that also, or 3 Gilded Goose.
or 3 Goose?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I'm going to assume that the Squeeze Squack building this deck is more in tune with what his deck needs than I am. But like the thing is, like you also have 2 Garruk Cursed Huntsman, which I think is an incredible card. This card is great. But I'm a bigger fan of like cool splashy cards, and I can appreciate the fact that they might not be the best option for like your tier 1 standard deck. I get that. But I still think this card is very, very powerful, and I hope we get to see some Garruk Cursed Huntsman action.
Yeah,
But when you have 2 6-drops in your deck, it feels like you do want like the maximum number of ramp cards in
well,
Gilded Goose or Paradise Druid.
it feels. This is like. Have you ever seen one of those decks where you just assume that the player just doesn't have all the cards? Because
Yeah, you're like, well, I only have 1 Nissa who shakes the world, so I'll
Right.
just play that.
Because I Garrett, that can't be right. So I think this just looks like an issue where maybe he doesn't have all the cards available to him because 1 Nissa can't be possibly right. 3 Goose is 100% not right. And obviously, Wicked Wolf is one of the most important cards in the deck, so I have no idea. And that's not a very, it's not
the
a hard
Wicked
card.
Wolf
That
Oko
is like,
combination is just very impressive. It's just very, very good.
yeah. So in its space, we're playing Quench.
3 Quench is interesting.
We
That is
got-
very interesting.
We have the bad miscalculation going on here, and but the thing about Quench is it does give you a play on turn 2 to hopefully be able to stop an opposing silliness, right? So you could possibly, because Quench is only 2 mana. If they are naturally casting an Oko, you'll be able to counter it if you didn't cast
You
your
got
own.
it. Yep. Same thing with
but-
Vraska or Garrick. Like, there's a lot of cards. Nissa even. Like, a lot of the cards in this deck, like, to be fair, are played when you're tapping out for them, right? Like, if you have 5
Right.
mana, you're going to play Nissa. So,
Yeah, the only issue with Quench is in a field of food where everybody has Nissa. If you don't get this off early and you don't draw it early, if you draw it late, I mean, it's not real good. But it is a surprise.
correct.
And it also, the thing about Quench on turn 2 is that means you can't be doing anything either, right? So you're not casting
Yeah.
your Oko. Obviously, if you have Oko, you'll cast it, but you have to decide between turn 2 Paradise Druid or turn 2 Quench. And normally, you would just want a Paradise Druid, so it's a little rough. And we'll see how that works.
Yeah, and the
for him.
last thing you want to do is draw, like, a Quench. Like, if you have the option to draw a Quench in the late game or a Nissa in the late game, it's going to be sad if it's a Quench, you know, when they have
Right, you're gonna be like,
18 mana.
like, what do I do with this thing?
Right, and there's an interesting a little arrangement here where, like, if you have Quench and Once Upon a Time in hand, then you might be fine keeping your Quench up, because then if they don't do anything, you can just play Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, and the other thing too is Quench has the same type of play like Disdainful Stroke does, where sometimes if you're ahead, you can use the Quench to be able to stay ahead. But normally that's because you have a Nissa out and you have double mana, and it only requires you to have 1 land up to be able to Quench off of 1 land. And with only 1 Nissa, that's
Yeah,
not
like
quite.
with your breeding pool.
Yeah, and there's also only 1 Mass Manipulation in the sideboard. We do see a couple of Murderous Riders, Revenge of Ravens, and the other boogeyman, Veil of Summer. We've heard a lot, which the recently banned Veil of Summer in Pioneer.
And Pioneer, yeah, that's crazy.
So
Revenge of Ravens is an interesting sideboard card here. I don't think I've seen much of that, but I mean, I like it because it's, you know, against a deck, like if there's like an aggressive black deck where like you're taking 1 damage a turn from these creatures, like you know, with Cauldron Familiar, for example, you know, it comes into play, you lose a life, they gain a life. If they're attacking with 2 1s or 2 2s, like all of a sudden, like you take 1, they take 1, and then it's
Right.
a much more fair race.
Yeah, I think that's. I'm not sure what the Revenge is there for. I'm assuming maybe against the adventure decks and things like that. But, you know, we'll see how that plays out. And we're going to go into the last deck. And this is from the Real Dash Dude, also from the Ohio State. And
Did you
now-
switch decks or no?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I
So-
can't tell because they look the same. So I wasn't
Yes, they
sure
look.
if you switched them.
Well, this has
Okay.
4 Gilded Goose.
That's true.
4
This is more in line with Holly's deck list.
Yeah, this is
Also,
now.
the Two Voracious Hydra.
But hey, now, double
Yeah, it's like-
Brazen
it's-
Borrower.
Yeah, the Real Dash Dude said instead of 2 Shifting Ceratops, I'm going to play 2 Brazen Borrower.
So let's talk about Brazen Borrower. Obviously, you're looking at a 3/1 Flash Flyer, which is nice because there's not a lot of flying in the mirror. But you can also return target permanent an opponent controls to their hand to maybe give yourself a little bit of time against Oko or Nissa or any number of different things, because it doesn't target your stuff. So it's not.
Right, correct.
I mean, if it was just a normal boomerang.
Can you imagine if
obviously-
you could bounce your Hydroid Crisis at the end of the turn and then be
that's
like,
exactly what I was
recast
thinking.
it?
I was like, man, Brazen Borrower is a boomerang, and then I had to read it again. I was like, oh, JK.
Yeah, that's vomitous.
Yeah, that would be just boomerang too good for Magic. But Hydro Crisis, this
Totally
card,
fair Magic card.
totally fair, flying trample, a gajillion counters. But so nothing really exciting here. The sideboard also doesn't have anything out of the ordinary. This is just very stock. And you can see that all 3 players are playing the Simic Food deck, but they all have different little nods to what they want to do. You know, we have the Real Dash Dude, which is basic stuff. We went and looked at Squeeze Squack, who was playing a little bit less of some stuff. I had the black, and then Holly, who also was just playing the straight Simic version for consistency, right? Like that's the name of the game with this deck, is just being able to do the same thing over and over again every game.
All of your cards do what they do so well that as long as you're hitting them, as long as you're drawing the cards that you want to draw, you should be just fine.
Yeah. Well, Ohio State is like that guy who always wants to really win that tournament, like me, and you just play the best deck.
Yeah, you just play the best deck, right? For
just
sure.
Play the best.
There's totally nothing wrong with that.
Well, absolutely not, because I have literally made a Magic career out of just playing the best deck.
Correct.
And maybe
I have made a Magic career out of not playing the best deck, which is hilarious.
Well, when we talk about not playing the best deck, if you're not going to play the Simic Food, you have to play something that is going to be good against it. So let's look at what Milwaukee School of Engineering has brought. And we'll look at Bubbly Reaper real fast. And Bubbly Reaper has brought the red, has brought the fire, nice. Baby. And
we get to see a Cavalcade of Calamity deck.
Look at this. I haven't seen a mono red deck in a long while now. And this
season, know why? Because this is a format devoted to food.
Right, and food gains you life.
Right.
But the good thing is that these mono red decks aren't burn decks, right? They are actually just...
No, it's like an attrition deck. Yeah, it's definitely like an aggressive attrition deck.
So we're looking at Cavalcade of Calamity. And now... you may not know what this does, but whenever a creature you control with a power 1 or less attacks, it also will deal 1 damage to that player or to the planeswalker that it's attacking. So it's essentially like an Orcish Oriflame in a deck where, 1 power, more 1 power, and, let's keep going. Wait, Legion Warboss, it makes 1 power things. And then, obviously, Torben. So talk to me about mono red and how does this play in the metagame?
I want to be honest with you. I actually thought a list like this would have more Torbran because, like, Torbran in conjunction with Cavalcade of Calamity is just like every creature you attack with just automatically deals 3 damage, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah, and it's 4 red. And if you're playing mono red, you can just slam it down on 4, no big deal. And now you're just shooting lightning bolts. Right, and or worse.
Keep in mind, when this guy attacks, he's basically a 4/4. Right, he's a 4/4 for 4. Another, just similar to Questing Beast, a legendary 4/4 for 4.
Right, and except that he turns your guys into lightning bolts when he's
Cavalcade
of Calamity.
Every point of damage you deal now has a shock attached to it, which is just pretty ridiculous. Like, I mean, that card was good when it was kind of like Furnace of Wrath or Pyromancer Swath, I think it was called. But like now you just get a 4/4 along with it, and that's just really good.
No big deal. Well, and I'm thinking like, man, if you had double Cavalcade and a Torben. Holy moly.
That's gross. That's 6 damage per attacker. Yeah, you're just dead.
Yeah, you're just dead. Oh, you got a Planeswalker? Nah, it's dead too. But let's go through the cards. We're going to have 1 Fervent Champion. This is the First Strike Haste guy. And the good thing about it is it does have that 1 power, which will go ahead and trigger the Cavalcade. But it does go ahead, obviously, when it attacks another target attacking knight, you does get that +1, +0. And what other knights do we have? Let's see.
I don't think there's many, actually. This doesn't look like a knight heavy deck. They really just want it for the First Strike and Haste. It's just like a 9th or a 13th 1/1 for 1 with First Strike and Haste is really what you're looking for.
Right. First Strike Haste is just fine. And we're looking at Goblin Banneret because obviously with Mentor, the way things stack up. Yeah, we know that Banner. Well, I played a lot of Banneret in Limited.
Limited, right?
God, it was nice.
It gets out of hand. This guy, Scorch Spitter, is unbelievably good in this deck because, again, with Cavalcade of Calamity, just turning this guy sideways, you're dealing 6 damage.
That's pretty good return for a
and then if it's not blocked, there's friggin' 9 damage if it's not blocked. Like, that's unbelievable.
That's kind of gross, actually.
It's a 1/1 for 1.
Tin Street Dodger, we're going to be looking at another 1/1 with haste, and the cool thing about this is it can't be blocked this turn except by creatures with Defender, and guess what? There's not a lot of those running around.
Yeah, it's just unblockable.
Yeah, it just says 1 red, unblockable, so we can live with that. Torch Courier, if you want to desperately give something haste, you could, but normally this is just going to be another 1/1. We've got the Spitfire, and this is a card that can get really out of control, Frank.
This is the deck's like namesake card.
So whenever an opponent is dealt non-combat damage, this guy gets +3, +0. So talk to me about what the ideal here is with us.
I mean, the ideal is like you attack with 2 creatures, you have a Cavalcade out, The Cavalcade triggers twice. They take 2 damage. This is not even like this is just assuming you don't have Torbrand. Right? They take 2 damage. Then Chandra Spitfire, all of a sudden, before damage is even dealt, is a 7/3. And it's just
7/3
not
flying.
a reasonable amount of like you could also just shock their face.
Yeah.
You could do any number of things. What's Chandra Acolyte of Flame? Does she have a so this is the create 2/1/1 elementals. This is a great 0 ability because it works very, very well with Cavalcade of Calamity, as you can imagine.
Mm-hmm. And the thing too here is that we also have Legion War Boss, and being able to mentor goes a long way, but also creating 1/1s. And Legion
Yeah, the
War
number
Boss,
of 1/1s in this deck with haste is just pretty unbelievable.
and War Boss is great anyway. It's one of those cards
Right.
where sometimes you just drop it on turn 3 and it just dominates the game.
That's good enough, yeah.
Right. You don't really need to do much else. And we talked about Torben a little bit. Chandra Acolyte of Flame, the 0 ability to be able to make more 1/1s that are elementals. And we also look at her -2. So I don't know how often we get into that, but I mean, because I just haven't seen
It's
this.
not irrelevant, right? Like
Right, it's
if you go
still
shock
useful.
and then shock, 2 shocks is like a lot. If you have Torbrand out, that's 8 damage. You know what I mean? 1 shock, 1 Chandra, and a Torbrand is 8 damage.
Yeah, the big thing is for this deck is I don't even think this deck is afraid of food, because if your opponent is sacrificing food for life,
Yeah, if
then
they're taking the turn off to paint 2 and sack
Right.
food.
Yeah, they're not eating it with the wolf. They're not just doing a lot of stuff. Obviously, we have Shock, Lava Coil, light up the stage to draw some cards, the namesake Cavalcade of Calamity. And our sideboard options, looks like we've got Spear Spewer, and I definitely can see how control decks might not necessarily like this.
Yeah. If you
but
have
I'm-
Cavalcade out, it's 3 damage a turn.
Right. Just eat some of that. Jaya's Greeting to be able to hopefully maybe shoot some of these wolves or whatever else comes out. A lot more lava coils. Now, Bone Crusher Giant.
Bone Crusher Giant is sweet.
Talk to me about this guy.
You can stomp like anything, and if you have a Torbrand out, it's 4 damage instead of 2, which is fantastic. But otherwise, sometimes you just need to go a little bit bigger. Sometimes you just want to have an answer for not an answer, but something that can actually compete with the Wicked Wolf if it's just by itself, or sometimes you just want to get rid of a Planeswalker that's in the way, and this is just a good
Yeah.
dude. And also like the fact that like they can't target it with anything without taking 2. It's a pretty strong ability. Like this is just a good card. Bone Crusher
You're
Giant
like,
just-
please target it, please, please. I dare you.
yeah. And also,
we-
don't forget, not irrelevant, but on Bone Crusher Giant, the first ability says damage can't be prevented this turn. It's very Skull Crackian. You know what I mean?
I do love some Skull Crack. Now we have Skewer the Critics, so that we can have the 3 damage to any target. So just some more burn from Bubbly Reaper, and yeah,
the sideboard's funny because it feels like basically you could just title it cards that wouldn't fit in my main deck.
right. Yeah, cards. If I just want to play burn.
Yeah, if I just want to play
yes.
75 cards, I'll just shuffle these all together, and that's just fine.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. And I'm sure that's probably one of the options is just to go straight burn against certain decks.
You can tell it's a really weird standard format when I'm excited to see a red deck like this.
Yes, we're
Is
like,
this-
oh, something different. Yes.
Decks like this are usually the bane of Standard's existence. And
Yes.
right now I'm like, oh wow, this is exciting. A Cavalcade of Calamity. I'm like, wow, what's happening right now?
Yes. What has happened to Frank Lepore?
Oh my god, what a weird. Oh, this looks exciting too.
Now this is an exciting one. So we're gonna be. This is How the Cards Move. Is playing.
It's a great name.
Yeah, right. Is playing the Fires of Invention deck. And last week we did see the Fires deck, and we saw that against the Oko decks, if you can resolve the Fires, you should be okay. And this deck is doing a lot. We've got Fae of Wishes, Murderous Rider. We've got the Narsets, 2 Nicol Bolas main deck. And
This is one of my favorite cards in Standard. Nicol Bolas is one of my top
Look.
favorite cards in this format. It's just so fun.
and
It's just
and
a
that's
very powerful card.
It's well, when you get to play it for free, it turns out it's pretty good as well. And that's what
Yes.
Fires of Invention does for you. So if you aren't aware of what Fires does, for 4 mana, it comes into play. Now you can only play 2 spells a turn, but the thing about it is, however many lands you have out, so you can cast the spells that cost less than that.
That's your limit, yeah.
Right. So you can, if you have, Liliana and a Nicol Bolas, and you happen to have 6 mana, guess what?
Sky's the
those-
limit. Knock yourself out.
That's right. You did it, boys. We did it.
Yeah, if you have his turn 6, you have a Chandra Awakened Inferno and a Liliana.
Yeah.
Play them both.
You the best. That's what happens. And now the only thing. So last week we did see the Fae of Wishes package, and I really like the Fae of Wishes package. And that's what you see here. There's 3 of them, but they have 4, and that they were way more into like just having a lot of just one-ofs in the sideboard. So like maybe this would be 1 Nicol Bolas, only 1 Chandra, maybe 1 Liliana, and then they would have those 3 Noxious Grasps in the main deck, and just play more and maybe get the 4th Wish. There's is he playing the other Rider in the sideboard? No, just
no.
not
So
playing.
you have no way to search for it. You have an Elder Spell, right? You have Elder Spell and you have like removal spells. So it's not like you're not out of luck. You can get a Noxious Grasp or an Angrass Rampage or an Elder Spell or a Tyrant Scorn or an Enter the Goddess. You have a ton of ways to deal with creatures if you really need to. And then like for Planeswalkers, you can just grab Elder Spell.
And then you still do have Enter the God Eternal.
Another card I love.
Dude, I remember when I first saw this card, and I was like, wait a minute. This does what? Like, I read the first line.
It's like questing Beast of Spells, right?
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, the first thing it does, it deals 4 damage, and then you gain life. I was like, okay, drain for 4. All right.
Yeah,
and then it was
Ribbons of Night.
Ribbons of Night, yeah. And then we're going to do a little bit more. Let's go ahead and just, mill them for 4. Okay. And make a 4/4. All these things.
Right.
What?
You're like, oh, for 5 mana, that's pretty good.
Well, and I guess I don't understand. I see that the card is good, but
I don't know why it doesn't see more play. But I guess it's
in the format. Like, what does 4 damage to only a creature do against food, right? So a lot of times you will be able to possibly kill a smaller Krasis. You can kill Questing Beast, but you can't kill Wicked Wolf. You can't kill Planeswalkers. So that's why this Enter the God Eternals
you're like killing a 3/3 from Nissa or Oko, and it's just not super impressive.
And Noxious Grasp just does more.
Oh God, it's such
look at this. I mean,
so funny that this is like such. Typically, Noxious Grasp, if you're playing black, is like a 4 of main deck card, which is really again another interesting thing with this format.
Yeah, and I think that is something that this particular deck would be better off with. I think there's a world where How the Cards Move would just not play any of these Enter the God Eternals. Maybe play 1 in the sideboard. Definitely not playing 3 Ritual Soot, but you can cut a Soot, cut 3. Of the Enter the God Eternals, just play 4 Noxious Grasp and just have it main deck because it's great.
Maybe that's better.
It's dead against red, right? So maybe they were thinking there was going to be more red, and they've maybe seen more red through the year, and they are undefeated. Let's not be crazy.
Let's not make judgments. Also, the thing is, the metagame that they're expecting to face, it shouldn't necessarily be based on the Pro Tour metagame, which is going to be completely different.
Right, and in the sideboard, you do see the Duresses. You see the Rampage, which destroying an artifact creature and a Planeswalker for 2. That goes hard in the paint, and because then you can try to destroy an Oko, hit a food, and kill a creature for 2 mana. So that does a lot.
Yeah, typically for 2 mana, you're definitely going to kill either Oko or Nissa guaranteed, right? Because you're just going to name Planeswalker.
Right. You're like Dreadbore.
And it's going to be one of those 2. Right, exactly.
Dreadbore plus, and then sometimes Dreadbore plus. So yeah, that's a really good card. I'm surprised there's only 2 there. Elder Spell, Tyrant Scorn. There is the 1 Enter the God Eternals, and then Nicol Bolas, the 3rd, Casualties of War, Planar Cleansing, and then the Plane-Wide Celebration for the Wish package. And this is an interesting deck because, again, if you don't find fires, your deck is pretty mediocre. And
wow, that's rude, Rob.
Well, listen. We saw it last week. When the deck doesn't resolve fires, you're having to do some really weird things to try to stay alive until you can get to one. And we will see if Drawn from Dreams and Thought Erasure and things like that will help to make sure that How the Cards Move get where they're going to get. But we do have one more deck, and that is going to be from Zombie Apocalypse. Also,
what?
Bringing that heat, baby.
Double count. See that now? 3 Torbrand. That's what we're talking.
Yeah. Now this is what I'm saying. 3 Torben. This looks like a more streamlined version. of
this
the
card's great.
Scorcher. Look at this thing. When
this
it enters
is
the battlefield,
1/1s for 4.
That's what I mean. And that is, empty the Warrens a little bit more actually. 1 more than empty the Warrens.
Yeah, but they also get haste. Elementals you control gain haste, so all 3 of them are able to attack that turn. So if you go turn to a Cavalcade into this,
enjoy yourself.
Yeah, this deck just seems really good.
Yeah, they're playing the 3 Acolyte of Flame, Shock, Light Up the Stage, but also Heartfire. And this is interesting to me because you can deal 4 damage to any target, which is super important when you're trying to take down Okos and things like that, and also taking down Wicked Wolf, any number of different things. But the thing for mono red is they can kill a Wicked Wolf. It's going to cost them 2 spells, right? Because they can target it once, and then when they go to sacrifice the food, they can respond by shooting it again. So they're going to need to be able to have as much fire as they can. You see there's a light up at the stage, which is their card draw, but we're going to see a Mask of Immolation. Hey,
that's just basically Mortar Pod, right? So, I mean,
Yes,
you can make 2 elementals, attack with the elementals with Chandra, equip 1, shoot your face, equip 1, shoot your face. And if you have Torbrand, like, this is dealing 3 damage to any target. Like, it's pretty nuts if you can get if you can get that combo going.
Well, and especially for this deck, it just gives you a way to have like a fireball effect.
It gives you a little more reach, right? And you can sacrifice like Footlight Fiend. If you have Torbrand out and you sack Footlight Fiend, you're dealing 6. Like, there's a lot of like just incremental damage that you can be dealing with the Mask of Immolation.
A lot of gas going on here. Out of the sideboard, we do see the Spewer, the Torch Courier, Thrill of Possibility.
That's interesting. Just as a way to just draw some more cards.
Yeah, just get rid of the stuff that it just isn't good. Burn Bright. Now, I do like Burn Bright. I would rather have at least 1 main deck so that they have to play around it all the time, and because they won't know how many you play. So I would maybe try to get 1 in if I could.
Yeah, this is just Trumpet. What's the word?
Right, Trumpet Blast.
Yeah, Trumpet Blast, right.
And then you've got Skewer the Critics, another just nod to being able to take the damage down.
Yeah,
so,
and it feels like Bubbly Reaper and Zombie Apocalypse are just trying to go under these Simic decks. Like, hey, you're going to play 3 drops, 4 drops, 5 drops. I'm going to be trying to deal you a bunch of damage before that starts happening. So
yeah, we're going to try to kill that Oko before he gets out of control. So we're going to have the Ohio State University on Simic Food across the board. We're going to have the Milwaukee School of Engineering with double mono red, and then bring in that little bit of spice coming through with the Fires deck. We're about to go into our match 1, but we're going to go to a break first, and then we're going to see, will Simic Food take it again? We'll be right back. It is time for our first game between Ohio State and the Milwaukee School of Engineering. We are going to be following Zombie Apocalypse here, I believe. And
yes, that is correct, because everyone from Ohio State is running a blue-green variation of some sort. So,
and look at here, look at here. He mulligans quickly because he doesn't have what he needs. This hand also
great.
It's decent. I
mean, you can turn 1 10th Street Gentleman attack, and then turn 2, as long as they don't play a blocker. Well, I mean, even if they play Paradise Druid, they're not going to block this guy. So you're going to get a free light up the stage, which is basically an unmulligan. And like, once this deck hits 4 mana with Torbrand and 2 Scampering Scorchers, like, pretty good.
Light it up. Find me some gas.
That's good, because next turn now you have a Chandra, and then you can play that mountain for free, and then, yeah, I think we're just in the driver's seat here.
Well, he's got 4, so this is going to be Wicked Wolf eating our 1/1.
Eating this little 1/1, right? Which is totally fine.
1/1.
I mean, like, you're not gonna, like, this is better than them eating a Torbrand, right? So, the problem, like, it looks like they have 2 Questing Beasts in hand for Speesquack, and that's
no good.
No, it's no good for Zombie Apocalypse. Speesquack, however, not too bad. Not too bad for them.
Yeah, and it's just rough now because probably just dead.
It's funny because you can tell they're playing these matches very quickly, so it feels like they've practiced these games before, and maybe even these specific archetypes. But like, there's no like, hey, I'm gonna think about these plays. I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna look at my hand. I'm gonna see what my best option is. They're basically just play my land, play my best card. Like, you can see this. It feels like there was no question given on Speed Squack's side as to whether maybe I try this second Wicked Wolf and try to get rid of Torbrand. Maybe there's a situation where I want to play Vraska. It's basically just slam this card and let my opponent figure it out, you know?
Yeah, and there's just nothing here. Oko is on board. We're going to have the Scorcher incoming. So the question now
use that
is...
shock on the Gilded Goose. I wonder if it would have been better to use it on the quest. Oh, well, okay,
No.
Torbrand is actually invalidated now, so yeah, that's not...
Yeah, and they wanted to make sure that they didn't get to 5 earlier. Like, in case there's not another land, I'm assuming they were just trying to prevent that last bit from Nissa coming through. But, you know, oh, there's the Quench.
There's the Quench. That's super interesting. I wonder if that's going to actually have a use, because it's funny. Right now, Zombie Apocalypse has 6 lands.
No, it won't matter. He's dead right here. So,
God,
irrelevance.
Already at 6 life. The game is over thanks to Questing Beast and a 3/3 food token. This is interesting because it really showcases how oppressive Oko is, because even if you're just trying to play a deck that has a creature as a centerpiece, like, hey, this is a really cool... I was playing a deck recently in Pioneer with Arcades, which is the dragon from M20 that makes all your creatures with Defender able to attack.
Yeah.
And I got real excited about it. I was like, okay, cool, we're going to play this. We're going to attack with a bunch of walls. We have something going on. And then the next turn they just played Oko and made it a 3/3, and I was like, oh.
Oh.
So it's like, it's funny because, like, it's one thing to just have a removal spell, but, like, it invalidates creatures that you want to play that have, like, valid abilities in your deck.
Or
and
artifacts.
it does so as a +1, right? So it's not even like if you look at Vraska or, you know, any other Planeswalker, typically if it's a removal spell, it's -2, -3. You're getting rid of something. You're losing some amount of loyalty. But Oko, you're just like, all right, that's your centerpiece of your deck. I will +1 and get rid of it.
Yeah, get it out.
It's very demoralizing because it's like, well, my deck is dependent on this one card, and it's like no cost to you in order to get rid of it.
Now this hand is much, much better. Has the Skewer the Critics in it, has a Light Up a Stage, a Chandra, a couple 1/1s, and on the play. So, oh my God, this hand from look at Speed Squack's hand. That hand is real bad.
Did they keep?
Oh yeah, he kept that.
Oh, that's aggressive.
That's a horrid keep.
That's aggressive.
And we talked about this too, is that sometimes when you're playing those 6-drops, they can kind of clutter your hand up a little bit, and now you're not doing what the deck does, right? And this hand is horrid. This is like Mono Red's dream. Oh God, another land!
Speed Squack has drawn 2 Watery Graves off of Once Upon a Time and the draw step. And Speed Squack's hand right now is 5 lands and 2 6-mana Planeswalkers.
And it's about to get crazy right now. Give
Light
me
Up
more
the Stage
1/1s.
with this deck is so good at demulliganing because you have so many 1/1s that are coming down on turn 1. You're attacking with them, and you're usually able to get under any sort of defenses so long as they don't play Gilded Goose.
Yeah.
And
here's the punishment, because here comes Chandra. We're going to be able to make some 1/1s, and we're going to go straight to the face and try to punish this food deck before it even gets started. They are at 13, and Mono Red from
I don't
Zombie
feel like
Apocalypse.
it's overstating that this game seems like it's in Speed Squack's hands right now.
Well, if he continues just to draw lands, it's not going to be
Well,
good.
the thing is, you can -2 Chandra and replay the Light Up the Stage, right? It's 3 or less.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So I mean, that's just an extra draw step.
Let's see. Oh, there's a Questing Beast, which is going to
Yeah, that's pretty
slow down.
And it kills the Chandra too, which is really unfortunate. This is another thing. Like, it feels like the cards that this deck has access to, including Questing Beast and Oko, they just okay. That's
Got him!
Yeah,
Got him, coach!
that's pretty good. 1, 2, 3,
Wait,
4,
wait,
5,
what?
3.
Wait, why did they just... Couldn't they just shot the beast dead? Or...
No,
wait.
it's opponent or planeswalker that
Oh,
they're
okay.
attacking gets the damage.
Got it. Doesn't matter. Get him!
Rob, can we talk about how quick these games have gone? I think we've been casting this match for about 16 seconds,
Yeah.
and we're going to game 3.
And there's the thing is that both decks, like, so game 1, you saw the Simic deck do exactly what it wanted to do. The mono red deck didn't really have a lot going on, but
and that was a mulligan to 6 too.
Right, and you've seen the mono red deck mulligan and say, hey, this hand it might be decent, but it's not good enough to beat food. Whereas the food player in game 2 was like, well, I'm up a game. I'm going to keep this really clunky, really probably bad hand and see what happens. And I think they would have just been better off, you know, just mulligan it, man. You're up a game. Go get some stuff. Oh, here we go. We get to keep 7. We've got the Cavalcade, got a Fiend, a Light of the Stage, and a Skewer ready for some business.
This is just better. This is just their other hands, their other opening hands, except with a 7th card in them. So
right.
What do we have for Speesquack? We have a Gilded Goose and a Questing Behemoth, a Questing Beast, but also 5 lands. So not a super fast start here. And they also didn't lead with Gilded Goose here.
Why didn't they lead with? Maybe were they afraid that maybe it would get shocked or something to that effect? But
I mean,
there's an Assassin's Trophy.
Right? So, Assassin's Trophy is pretty good against this Cavalcade, unfortunately. But you still have Chandra's Spitfire to deal with, so it's not like there's no. It's not like they have nothing else to fill the board with once this Cavalcade is dealt with.
Yeah, well, here comes the Beast, and the question will be, can they race this 4/4?
Yeah, that's really what you need to figure out.
Because Spitfire is going to drop, and hanging out. It's not much to do there. I think I might have just attacked with the 1/1 there.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna and see if he blocks. And if he blocks, I get to skewer it, right?
Oh, then you get to skewer it. Yeah, because then you could. Well, no, because you haven't dealt. Yeah, because the Cavalcade would deal 1 to their face, so they would respect and then. Yeah, I mean, like, the problem is, like, it's interesting because even though this is an aggressive, like, throw everything at your face red deck, there are a lot of plays to consider, and red decks like this typically have a lot of decisions to make.
Right, but what's the worst thing that can happen if I attack with my 1/1 and my 1/3 right here? So, like, you can play Chandra, you can make some 1/1s, but I'm not like just attack.
Much.
No, just attack. And now, if he blocks the 4/4 on the 1/1, you can skewer it down.
Yeah, and you get rid of it, and you can still light up the stage as well, which is very, very strong. You can
and he does. There's the block. Let's go.
Oh yes, this is nice because we know Speesquack only has Once Upon a Time, which could find him another Questing Beast, but it could also just find him a land as well. And I think Questing Beast is one of the strongest cards in this matchup. Like, it prevents all of your creatures from blocking, and it has Vigilance, so it makes it almost impossible to get through.
Oh,
so
and a Wicked Wolf.
Wicked
Wolf comes in, but that's okay.
It also kills Spitfire.
Yeah, but you're fine with that because you're going to be able to... Okay, went with another light. Going to go ahead and shock the Goose. I was surprised to not see the Chandra come down there.
Without them having any mana, I actually would have been tempted to shock their face in response to this Wicked Wolf so that you can trade with the Wicked Wolf and deal them an extra 2 points.
Well, how do we deal with this Wicked Wolf now?
I don't think we do, to be quite honest. I guess we can actually...
Yeah, here we go. Get the Skewer.
There
we go!
A reasonable answer. I think we're actually doing fine here. This is pretty much parity as far as these two players are concerned.
Drew an Aether Gust. And
it's not
the Gust,
that great here.
No, but I mean, maybe there's a world where we can get them to burn their Gust onto the Chandra.
I feel like they're going to Assassin's Trophy here.
No way. Has to. Well, maybe. Here we go. There's the trophy.
Well, because if they don't know you have a second Chandra, then this just gets it off the board. You know what I mean? Like, you have a lot of top decks that are very, very good against. Are they going to Aether Gust this?
Oh, I was going to say that would have been.
That would have been gas, yeah. Because then you get to.
That definitely
took... no cards in hand. Speesquack has nothing in hand.
Well,
like, we know we're going to probably draw a Chandra next turn, which we do.
Oh, drew a land, so now it's just a matter of...
It's going to be a Nissan top watch. Here we go.
I was going to say, it'll be... Oh, it was a Goose.
He's keeping the Goose? I mean, keeping the Goose is actually fine.
What?
No, it went to the bottom, I think.
Yeah, there's no way he's keeping Goose there.
I mean, it gives you, like, if you can survive for the turn, it gives you a 3 life a turn, essentially, and, like, he has the mana to really take advantage of it. It doesn't get you anywhere, for sure.
Wait, what are we doing? Are we returning? Okay, we're returning so we can go ahead and
Oh,
light
you're
up the
gonna,
stage and
yeah,
draw
you're
some
gonna
more.
draw 2 here, for sure. That seems like a great decision. And you get to pay
Oh,
1.
good God. Here we go.
That's great because you can actually keep the Torment for next turn. And this is exactly what we wanted to see with the Scorch Spitter, where it deals 6 damage.
It
this
is
is
going.
the game.
I think it might be dead. So we're
He
going
has
to be
no
able to.
cards in hand. We're going to make 3 tokens. All of them are going to deal 6 damage. The Scorch Spitter deals an extra 3 damage.
And then a shock
And then
just
you have
in case.
a 4 damage shock in the hand. This is it. What?
Got
What
him!
even just happened?
Got him, coach. Now,
Wow.
look.
This last game was actually exciting. The first 2 I feel like were kind of lopsided, kind of blowouty. This last game was very, very good.
Yeah, and I think when we go back and look at some of these games, let's talk about game 1, okay? In game 1, we saw the Simic Food deck come out and just do exactly what it wanted to do. It played just creatures, it had the Oko, and then it just basically went really wide, and the mono red deck was on the back foot. And
Right.
and it couldn't get through those defenses. There was no tempo to it, and for a mono red deck, if you don't have that tempo, you are usually going to have a problem unless they're already at a low life. So
Yeah, or unless you have like a card that's going to push you over the top, like a
Right.
Cavalcade or a Torbrand, something like that.
right, something that can dig you out of a hole. And this deck doesn't dig out of holes normally. So you saw that in game 1. In game 2, we went back, and now it was not even so much that the mono red deck had a crazy start, it was that the Simic Food deck got a little greedy, kept a hand that had double Garruk in it, and they were just dead before they got started. They did get the beast in there, but I think you just if you're up a game, I mean,
Is 5 lands, 2 Garrux is just not where you want to be. Like it's
that's
just,
not a hand.
You're
That's
never going to cast these. You're already a mulligan to 5. Like that's a
Right.
mulligan to 5 against this.
and it's
right
a bad mold of 5 because you would be on a mold of 5 with just 5
with
lands.
5 lands, right? Exactly. Like it's not even
Yeah.
a good mold 5. This
Yes,
is just
it's a
very
horrid
rough
mold of 5.
for
So
sure.
we see a lot of players doing that where they just maybe are a little bit adverse to mulliganing, and then in
I mean,
game
I'll be honest. I
3
play Magic for 20 plus years, and I still do it. I'm still like, I just don't want a mulligan. Like I
No,
don't to get a worse hand than this. It's like it's like a coin flip where you're like, well, this could be worse. I don't know. And I think a lot of situations, like you look at that hand and it's not going to be worse. It's probably going to, like, the odds are very high that's going to be better than this. But I
Well-
understand the apprehension, I think, is what I'm saying.
yeah, but I think if you get to draw 7 and then put 1 back as opposed
That's
to
true.
just
The
the
London
normal,
mulligan definitely helps.
Yeah, and you have cards like Once Upon a Time and so on and so forth. But looking at that hand, he knows he's playing against mono red. Like if maybe he was playing in the dark or something, like I could maybe convince myself. But against mono red, I'm not quite sure about that game 2 keep. And then in game 3, we had a back and forth where both players could have just, there was essentially like a 1-1 on board. Both players had no cards in hand, and like you said, being at parity for the mono red deck, and there's no planeswalkers on board, you will take that every day.
I agree.
So-
I mean, like, yeah, I agree.
I mean, and it happened to be that Chandra decided to make an appearance, and Oko did not. And
Multiple Chandras, yeah, multiple
it was
like
Chandra
2,
after
3
Chandra.
Chandras per game,
Well,
which
but
are
the thing-
very good.
Well, he was drawing extra cards too, so it's not like he was just getting astronomically lucky. He was
Right, when you
making
cast
sure.
light up the stage 3 times a game, you
That's
have a
what it-
lot of you have a lot of cards you're going through.
Yeah, it does what it does, and this is just a matter of one deck really got its game plan going, the other one didn't. But let's not forget that mono red player mulliganed in game 1 and 2.
And 2,
And
right?
So it's not like these are perfect hands to begin with. So it looks like Simic Food will end up losing the first match. Will put the Milwaukee School of Engineering up 1-0 in the match count against the Ohio State University. Can Milwaukee close it out in game 2? We're going to find out right after the break. If you're just tuning in, we are now into Game 2. The Milwaukee School of Engineering is up 1-0 over the Ohio State University. And now we are going to see from the side of Oh How the Cards Move what is going to happen.
I like that we are watching the fires now. I mean, like, I feel like everyone has seen a good amount of play from, like, these Simic decks or these blue, green, black, the Sultai decks. And we haven't seen a ton of action from, like, other decks in this format, right? Like, you've seen all of these other decks play out. But so now we get to see mono reds. We get to see fires. And that's nice to see it from their perspective because we're not super used to that yet.
Yeah, and this hand is not terribly great against...
It's a little slow.
Yeah, it does have the Ritual of Soot, which can help to maybe destroy a lot of the mana producers and things like that. But right now, it looks like in line for a turn 2 Oko.
Exactly what you want from Dash Dude.
And it doesn't look like Oh How the Cards Move has much play against this. So what will they do against the turn 2 Oko? We'll find out right now, because here it comes!
I thought we were going to break there for a second.
Yeah.
Ritual of Soot's interesting in this matchup. While it doesn't kill Wicked Wolf or Questing Beast or things like that, it does end up killing the 3/3 tokens and things like Gilded Goose or Paradise Druid, which is very, very nice. So, I mean, Ritual of Soot on its face, if you look at just the cards in the Simic deck, it doesn't kill a ton of them. But it does have a lot of interaction with the permanence that the deck creates.
Yeah, and we're going to see here that there is no 4th mana for the deck, for the Simic food deck. And that gives a little bit more time for Oh How the Cards Move to maybe set up a ritual here, because makes a 3/3, and then I'm assuming Dash Dude will end up playing a Paradise Druid.
All of these creatures are dying to Ritual of Soot in 2 turns. Like, it's definitely a real thing.
Yeah, so we're going to get to play our Narset here. And we can still block, right? So I guess next turn, there could be a food made, and then the Wicked Wolf drops. Oh, there's a fire!
That's exactly what you wanted to see. Oh, man, I was going to say, you definitely don't want to have to just Drawn from Dreams on turn 4 hard casting it. Like, that's just miserable.
Well,
because
now you're going to get to...
you're taking your whole turn off.
Now you get to
but now you get the fires into, like, Ritual of Soot.
Right,
That's
yeah.
actually very good.
Which is just fine. Incoming Wolf, I'm assuming, will go ahead and eat this food and kill the Fae.
That's what's known as a spicy meatball.
And you're fine with this, right? Like,
I mean, it is what it is. Like, they're gonna have a wolf on board, if you play Ritual of Soot, but that's all they have, right? They have Wolf and Oko, and that's fine. Like, it's not the end of the world.
It's Wolf plus Oko is
pretty good.
It's pretty good.
but like, think of it, like, theoretically, like, you get to untap, and you get to play Drawn from Dreams into whatever spell you find, basically, as long as it's like 5 mana or less, right? So
yeah.
And think about, like, the Oh How the Cards.
Whoa! Why did they play Wait, why did they do that first?
I think it's because they want to wait. They want to get a little more. They're at 19. They want to get a little more value out of this Ritual of Soot.
Yeah, but they're at 19. This is 4, 7, 8, 9, possibly
12,
10, 11, 12.
Right.
And go to 7 and still can't kill the wolf?
I mean, it's definitely a strategic option that they're exercising.
No. Look,
I don't know if it's correct.
Yeah, because if you hit them with a Soot, they'll only have 3 mana.
Right, and they have 4 power on board, and that's pretty much it, along with the Oko. Okay, they only did 9 instead of 12, so that's fine.
Okay, that could be worse.
Creative food. Okay.
And now what?
I mean,
gone.
Play the Paradise Druid Goose?
They have access. Yeah, they have access to only 4 mana. If they do go Paradise Druid Goose and then you get to Ritual, they didn't do anything. Interesting. Do players have access to each other's deck lists? Do you know?
No, you don't.
Interesting. So he doesn't necessarily know there's a Ritual of Soot. Also, if you go to Fae of Wishes here, what can you find?
No, you don't do Fae now. You don't need it. You can just play Ritual. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that gets rid of everything but the wolf. And now, like you said, Dash Dude is stuck on 3 lands with no blue sources. Which does buy a good amount of time.
Yeah, you've got a food now. Congratulations. And now...
This is... Enter the God Eternals is not going to...
Right. Well, it'll give him 4 life.
And a blocker. So, I mean,
and it'll get rid of one of the food.
Yeah, it's not nothing. Like, it's definitely relevant.
Yeah.
And next turn, you either get to Fae of Wishes with 6 mana to get, like, Casualties of War, which
No,
is
because you
good
still
here.
can't kill. No, you can't kill the wolf still.
But you can still get rid of the Oko, which is pretty big. You can get rid of Oko, one of their 3 lands.
Yeah, but couldn't we just play Fae and get Liliana, and make him sacrifice the wolf?
Well, it depends on if they play Paradise Druid and Gilded Goon. You know what I mean? So, like, they could have 3 creatures out, and they just get to keep the wolf.
All right, do we take 5 here?
We're at 14. I think it's probably reasonable to take 5. I don't think chump blocking here is really gonna win us any games.
Yeah, I like that. Just take the 5, go to 9. He knows that he does have
Oko's at 11.
minor detail 11.
Just an unreasonable amount of loyalty for a planeswalker.
Yeah, and normally, you know, if you have like
I
an
invite
11
you to change
power
your ways.
or 11 loyalty planeswalker, you're a lot more scared. All right, so we do have another food incoming. Doesn't play the second Paradise Druid. So the question is, if we Fae,
What do you
what's
get?
the best card can we get?
I don't like the problem is that 1 food token makes dealing with the Wicked Wolf very difficult.
Nicol Bolas.
Nicol Bolas is good, but again, it doesn't kill the stupid wolf. Like, that's your biggest issue right now, right? Just
Yeah, because like you can.
I almost like Drawn from Dreams better here because you could have potentially found a Liliana.
Yeah, but he can make the Oh, okay. I was gonna say like there was a world where
I grace you
he
with
could
my
have
mark of
made the wolf a elk, or he could have made his zombie an elk. If he makes his zombie an elk, it's a 7/7.
Yeah, you can +1 the Nicol Bolas to turn the Wicked Wolf into an elf.
Yeah,
which is very
and-
interesting.
Yeah, the 7/7 zombie, well, 7/7 elk would have been real bad. And now we're gonna lose our Nicol Bolas.
Yeah, that's true. On the bright side, we do have Drawn from Dreams next turn, so we can pretty much find anything in the deck and cast it. And the problem with the Simic Food deck is like they have so many versatile and powerful threats that being able to find like even a Silver Bullet in your deck might not do it. Like you still might need, like if you play like Chandra Awakened Inferno, it doesn't deal with Wicked Wolf. If you play Liliana and they have 2 or 3 creatures, it doesn't deal with Wicked Wolf. Like
Well, we
there's
get
so
to
many
eat-
situations.
Oh,
where-
this is
yeah,
gonna
you
be
can
this is
eat
gonna
this.
be no, this is gonna be really rough because he'll block the 3/3 and then he'll play
And
the
the
Hydra to
Righteous
finish it
Hydra.
off.
Yeah.
So, but again,
The Hydra dies. I mean, like you're trading. It's still fighting if you did that. So I mean,
yeah, we still have a Fires on board, and that's not nothing.
I think this game is not out of hand. I think we just have to find a way to deal with this Wicked Wolf.
And that's always,
before
like-
they find another Oko.
Well, that's always the problem. Oh, he didn't fight it down.
Yeah, well, that's because it's just a trade for them. Like they're going to be able to Voracious Hydra as 2/3, and then they're just going to lose Voracious Hydra and the token for the 4. And I
Right,
just think
but-
when you have 2/2 flyer and 5/5
Oh.
on board,
Ritual of Soot and a Murderous Rider, and another Drawn from Dreams. So Ritual will get rid of everything but the wolf again, and then
Yeah.
you can get another Drawn of Dreams, but there's also the Fae. This is really rough.
it's the problem you look at is that none of these cards deal with Wicked Wolf. None of them exile. None of them like it can't be. You know, there's nothing you can do against this stupid Wicked Wolf. So as
You
long as they
definitely-
have this 1 food token out, you're just kind of like, well,
Well, do you make them?
block it every turn. Also, Casual Vantress came down at some point for how the cards move, and that's if you have something like Fires out, so you can just use your mana to activate Castle Vantress every turn and scry and try to find
Yeah.
some answers.
Murderous Rider, I think he's thinking like, okay, so I don't know that you have to kill the 2/2. Like, you can, I'm just thinking like, is there any chance that you just try to make him burn the food, and then with your Fae, you go get the next turn? So this is what I would have done. I would have shot the wolf and
Yeah,
make
you
him
wanna
use the
get
food.
rid of that.
Okay, and then next turn, if he doesn't drop another way to make, he can make food off a goose. Never mind. Ignore what I just said.
Yeah,
So-
that's true. Right. So that's the thing. There's like a lot of things to consider here, and
Yes.
like Gilded Goose as a food outlet is pretty brutal.
Yeah. So we've got to find a way.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this is interesting. This is a window. This is a window, my dude. They have no more food, and like we don't have a creature on the board anymore.
We got it.
So-
This is, yeah, it's time to the Wrath of God.
Yeah, you just Fae of Wishes for planar cleansing. You
Planar
lose your
cleansing.
fires, but you still get to keep. You get to wipe their board, and then you have another, like you have Murderous Rider. You get to find.
Oh, and the Nicol Bolas to back it up.
Actually,
I would
you just
go-
play Nicol Bolas. Just keep both. Keep
Yeah,
Ritual
keep
and
both.
Nicol Bolas.
So we
And then
get
you
the
could
planar
just play
cleansing,
both. Yeah.
and then after it, play Nicol Bolas.
Oh,
No,
don't
no,
do this.
no,
No.
no, 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 no! Don't do that. Faye first.
Go
Okay.
get planar
Woo!
cleansing. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, dear
Oh, my
baby
goodness.
Jesus.
Because you don't need the mana anymore. Like you
No.
don't need, or you don't need the fires anymore. You can just play a 1-for-1 game with them.
Yeah, go get that planar cleansing.
There it is. Now we're no. Get the planar cleansing.
Dear, he's messing with us.
Come on, I'll have the cards move. Don't. There we go. That's
There
what
we
we're
go.
talking. Because now you can
And-
still hard cast Nicol Bolas,
Yeah,
and you
that
can even toss
is-
down a Fae of Wishes. I think.
You definitely will.
Oh yes, draw a card. Now they have 5 lands, so they're getting rid of a land or getting rid
Oh,
of a card.
oh, this feels so good.
This is what it's like taking control of the game.
Yeah, and now there's a Murderous
Play
Rider,
one.
another
Play
Fae, gets a land in, and can still scry every turn. And there's an active Nicol Bolas versus nada.
Nothing. Yeah, and like.
But he's
even
at
if you
2.
take your turn. Yeah, but like, the blue green deck doesn't have a way to really deal 2 damage. Plus Murderous Rider with lifelink, like if Dash D takes a turn off to play Once Upon a Time, like they're left with 2 mana. There's not a ton they can do.
Yeah. the
Although let's
Murderous
keep in mind,
Rider-
Paradise Druid is lethal.
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
let's. Oh, I was
That's
like,
a card.
there is a questing beast, so we have to be careful.
No,
Don't die.
That's real good. If Dash Dude gets to untap without Oh How the Cards Move having an answer.
Oh!
That's the absolute perfect draw. Wow. Thought Erasure getting your single questing beast. That
Will
he
he-
knew about.
Will he? Oh, and
Oh,
he knows
has
it's
to.
there.
He knows about it. Yeah, he knows it's there.
Oh!
He has to grab it.
What a
That's
thought
insane.
erasure.
Yeah, I would bottom this because the odds are they're going to draw a card that they're going to play. And they know it's Wicked Wolf on top, so... Or no, is that the graveyard? No. Yeah, that's on top of their deck, right?
Wait a minute. Hold on. We still. Wait.
Oh,
are
the
we-
Dash Dude knows there's a Wicked Wolf on top. We do not. Or Oh, the Cards Move does not. It's what we're
I was gonna say we gotta play the Rider, and we gotta play blockers just in case.
Yeah.
I would not attack with this. There's no world where I attack with that.
What did they sacrifice to Nicol Bolas? Did they forget to activate Nicol Bolas that turn?
No, they sacrificed a land. One,
Interesting. Okay. All right. So like this is still very very good.
all right. So
Fires doesn't do anything.
no, fires is fine.
Yeah.
He goes fires, ritual. Oh, fires attack.
Ritual's pretty
Wait.
bad for us. Oh, you're
Wait,
gonna
is it-
discard these 2 cards.
Wait,
Oh,
what? Wait,
No, that seems good.
wait, why?
I think they should have, because then you can use Granted for free.
But if we, okay, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, the 2 cards in hand don't do anything. Ritual doesn't do anything. It kills
No,
both
but-
of our players.
Yeah, it kills. But we would have an active Nicol Bolas, and we can make him lose a land, and he can't cast anything in his deck for 3.
Why didn't we cycle the Fae Wishes? Did we play a second spell that turn?
Yes, because the first spell is the
What's
fires.
the fire? Right. What's the second spell?
The second spell was
I don't think there was one. I think he might just want to hold Fae Wishes in case he has to deal with something, right? Like
Yeah,
you don't
he's
know
not-
what you're going to deal with. So this is actually nice because you can discard both of these fires in order to get back your Fae Wishes. So now I
Alright.
feel like you're going to be a lot more inclined to do that. Oh wow, Plainwide
Oh,
Celebration
good
is
God.
fantastic here. Do you just win the game with Nicol Bolas?
yes.
You can proliferate 4 times, and then it's an 8 loyalty. They did use him already, so you have to wait till next turn.
That's all right. I
Wow,
guess.
that's fantastic. We just watched Plainwide Celebration get cast for free with an onboard.
Yeah. I have never,
That's
I have
excellent.
never seen that. At 12,
Yep, we
And-
are out of the danger zone right now, my
Yeah.
friends.
now it's just a matter of keeping Nicol Bolas alive.
And also, when you have no cards in hand like Dash Dude, and you have 4 permanents on board, every uptick of Nicol Bolas is just so backbreaking.
Right, it's
Because
brutal.
it's pricing you out of ever casting your cards. Like this questing beast is great, but with 4 permanents on the board, you're
Yeah,
gonna have to
what?
sacrifice one of them. Oh well,
And-
dash
yeah,
kick
that
seems
was
right
game.
on the wall.
I was gonna say yeah
And,
because being able to return the Fae, discarding the other two fires,
two fires, yeah, it's
and
just
then just going
really
crazy. Yeah, it's just too much.
that's like a
um,
heck of a toolbox right there. And the thing is, you have 3 Noxious Grasp in your sideboard, so those are definitely not meant to be searched. Those are meant to be put in the main deck, and that's exactly what we're doing.
And
Same
so
thing with
Milwaukee.
Duress,
Whew,
because it hits Nissa, it hits Once Upon a Time if they haven't cast it. It hits Oko. So Duress is actually super relevant as well. Even though it doesn't hit the creatures, getting rid of those planeswalkers as soon as you can is just a great.
Well, the
strategic
cool thing
decision.
too is in that game is like there was a point where the Nicol Bolas was out and he could decide to destroy the Wicked Wolf, or we can like cast Ritualist Soot. So either of those options would have been perfectly fine, because if we just go ahead and destroy everything on the board, we can start eating his lands every turn or hands and cards. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff to do. But
Right.
the way he did it, he was like, look, I could just keep all my stuff and just do a bunch of crazy stuff with Fae of Wishes. So.
Yeah. And like this is
and-
what like some people said the Fae of Wishes package is too clunky, and I can see that. I can definitely understand that perspective, but I also think it gives you so much versatility and
Yeah.
so much reach for like situations that you might not otherwise be able to deal with. That I think there's definitely value to it.
This hand has no black.
That's
so,
rough.
oh, how the
I mean,
cards
you
move.
can just wait till turn 5 in order to stop it, and
Ugh.
then, yeah, this is not much better.
No, it's definitely a mulligan as well. But for
Yeah,
oh, how the
fire
cards
too.
move, he is up 1 game. The school is up 1 match. If he wins his match, he will win the entire match for Milwaukee and stay in the undefeated column for the Northeast 1 conference, or excuse me, for the Northeast 1 division. So being undefeated is huge, and we see
This is it. This is the hand.
much. Well, this is a much better hand. Get rid of those
You're
God
on one-
Eternals.
Yeah, and then you can probably get one. Get both of them.
Yeah,
sure.
you don't need either of those. No. We need to make sure we get a 4th land. And for Dash Dude, can he find a goose? Where the goose at?
That's the
not
breeding
there.
pool. Burp, 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 burp.
Yep, but there's the 4th
There's
land.
the 4th land. Good. We're looking good. I mean, being able to go Murderous Rider turn 3, hitting either your Oko or your Questing Beast is very strong.
Oh,
and
but,
then you get to
Dash-
fires. Hopefully, you'll hit something else.
but Dash
Disdainful
Dude
Stroke
picked
is
up a
good.
Disdainful Stroke.
I don't think it's gonna matter. There's no point where Dash Dude is gonna keep 2 mana up, right? Like,
Right.
they're gonna go Questing Beast, and then oh, how the cards move is gonna just slam fires. Like,
Well,
It might
but
be
that's the
relevant
question.
later, but-
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just plays Oko here, and then goes on the Oko aggressive plan and holds upstroke.
maybe it feels like it's risky though. It's a risky plan because you're just banking on them having fires. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, this seems good. I would just go to Oko when you.
Yeah,
can.
I would. Yeah, you kill the Oko ASAP.
Oko is no Joko.
Now here we go. Will it be Questing Beast or will he hold up the mana?
No, there's no way. They're just gonna slam this.
Incoming Beast.
The greed is so real. Like, there's no discipline here when it comes to like having to. This guy just slams in there for 4. It's
Yeah.
basically unblockable
just
most
so
of the
good.
time.
Oh,
If
he
you
doesn't
play-
have red. He misplayed. Oh, he doesn't have the 4th. He doesn't have the red mana.
Oh, that's brutal.
Oh no!
See, this is what I mean. Like, I was talking about this in game 1, where I felt like they were playing very fast, and they weren't necessarily thinking through decisions. They were just slam a land, slam a creature, attack, do all this. And it was almost hard as a commentator to keep up with what was going on in these games. They were just playing so quickly.
But
And
now
I
they're
kind of
going
feel
to
like
get.
that's
oh.
what just cost. Oh, how the cards move, because instead of like
Kinda harder.
And he's
you know,
probably going to die
figuring
now.
out where it land. Yeah,
Because-
it's going to be really hard to come back with this Questing Beast, and we get to keep up Disdainful Stroke. We get to keep up Once Upon a Time. There's no way any of the cards in Oh How the Cards Move.
Oh,
hand.
it is going to pay 2 life even.
Yeah, this
Going to
is
get
just-
stroked and then take 6 next turn.
it's going to 3. You can't find Nicol Bolas can come down and hit.
Oh, he's dead. That's it.
Yeah, that's
Here's the Oko.
well, yeah, because then the food just becomes. Yep, this is going to be the end.
I will invert
That
the
is
That
exactly-
is a mammoth mistake where
Yeah, that Blood Crypt was brutal. 2 Blood Crypts in hand, and you died being unable to cast fires. It's not ideal, but Magic is a hard game, guys.
if he casts the fires, he probably wins that game.
Yeah, it's a totally different game. You get to play Narset and like Nicol Bolas next turn. You can play Narset that turn even.
Yeah, Narset comes.
Found-
Narset comes out that turn,
Yeah.
and then next turn he could still get his Nicol Bolas counterspelled, but it's
But then you
definitely
get to play like Murderous Rider as well. Like you get to, there's things you
Right.
can do.
right. He's not going to just die right then. And this is a
What are these
bad one.
hungry
Ship it.
hands? Yeah, this is fine. It's
Yeah,
not
we'll
great,
just-
but you're not going to
yeah.
5 here.
Yeah, but you'll send back a Watery Grave here.
Yeah, probably Water Grave's fine because then you still have one of each dual land. Dismal Backwater is just a better
Wait,
turn
what?
1 play.
No. You need the blockers, right? You got to have.
Yeah, I think it's even just playing that as a 1/4 is probably just better. Like you're
That's
gonna
what I
hit a
mean.
4th land by turn 4. Like I don't think that's especially when you have the Surveil from Thought Erasure.
Yeah, because you need the Thought Erasure to be able to deal with something stupid on turn 2, like an Oko. Because
Yeah,
he can't
I
race
agree.
Oko with his hand. And he
Well,
still has a Thought
thankfully,
Erasure.
this hand is not super great. Did they go to 5? Did Dash Dude mull
Yeah.
to 5? Wow, that's brutal too. Okay, so I mean, like a little bit more fair. Mull to 5, drew the 6 card. Oh, how the cards move started on 6. So
It's yeah, everybody's having a good time.
yeah, we got some parity here. It's totally fine. This Thought Erasure is
So-
gonna be nice. It's gonna. Do you snag this Nissa or do you snag this Brazen Borrower?
Well, what's the borrower gonna do?
Like nothing.
Against our
really.
deck.
I mean,
Oh!
if they just now it's just academic. Now you just take the Nissa.
Yeah, take Nissa.
You can have.
Oh
your
well,
Paradise
well,
Druid.
maybe he doesn't. If he takes the borrower, then he can keep his token.
What do you mean?
When he makes a token from
Oh, the 4/4.
yeah,
Yeah, but I think I mean, but then like you also forces you to deal with Nissa. You know what I mean? And like, what are you hitting with the Enter the God Eternals at that point if you take the borrower and you leave Nissa? I guess you can kill one of their lands, but that doesn't seem as exciting.
yeah. I mean, I want to make
If
sure
you're
that
not
we
playing
just,
anything, just play this Blood Crypt. Yeah, they were looking at Castle Vantress, and I'm just like, if you're not going to use the mana, just play that for sure.
is there a world where we just play Fae here?
I don't think so. I don't think the pressure is enough yet. I mean, if we see Brazen Borrower come
Oh.
down 100%, I think you just slam
Well, here
it.
comes an Oko.
Yeah, that's a hell of a card. It's not tremendous here though. It's good. It's always going to be good, but like it doesn't
It's
put
not
a-
insane.
yeah, it doesn't put an unreal amount of pressure on them. They don't have any food tokens they can create or turn into 3/3s rather. So it's literally just coming down and making a. Like that's
One bite.
my
All right,
biggest
so-
concern is the hand from Oh How the Cards Move, which is just not super impressive just yet. I don't know what we get here.
What are we getting here?
It might just be Angrass Rampage and just make them sacrifice Oko next turn. I can also see like Casualties of War, but you're not going to be able to cast that. You don't even have fires.
This, I'm not sure what we're getting here.
Nicobolus is good. It also kills Oko, but then it dies itself.
Yeah.
So
Well, but we get to cast the God Eternal first.
yeah, and Oh How the Cards Move does not know they have Brazen Bar bounce our 4.
Right.
Surely you see the humor here.
But this is still a rough one. Like, this is why I wanted to keep the second Fae. So, like, if we had to drop the first
Right,
one
because
just
it
in
gives
front-
you it gives you more variety, it gives you reach, it gives you some versatility. Yeah, I agree with that completely. Yeah, now we have 6 lands in hands, which we don't really need. We only need 5 right now. You know, and I think our odds of hitting like a 4th or 5th land were pretty high.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pay 2, and then incoming. Enter the God Eternal.
Yeah, it sucks because even like I guess you just play Enter the God Eternals. Do you kill the Paradise Druid? You probably kill Paradise Druid actually.
Yeah, Paradise Druid. Well, yeah, Paradise Druid, 100%.
Goose is a little slow here, but Paradise Druid is nice because it's a threat and it's a mana production.
It's the big thing is keeping him off of 5 mana,
Right. Yeah, it's 100% Paradise Druid.
and that's what he's thinking too. He's like, where does it go? It goes to the Druid, goes to the Dome.
Gain 4, got a blocker. If they Brazen Borrower, it's fine. They only have 3 mana right now, so
Right, and they have to, like, all right, great. You bounce our token. We'll take 3, maybe possibly 6 if he really wants to get crazy with that Goose, but I don't think he does. Well, maybe he does. If he makes
I
the
don't know.
Goose into a 3/3, get attacked
6
for
damage
6.
is a lot. It's not
and
enough.
put him to 8.
Yeah, play Paradise Druid, play. Oh,
Ah!
they're doing it.
Angry
The thing-
Goose.
The thing is, this is still not a ton of mana for Dash Dude. It's only 4 mana total, And if Oha the Cards Move has something like a Ritual of Soot, it's very, very good.
Yeah,
We
and
know that he does
doesn't-
not.
But he didn't care about it either. He didn't even play around it. He was like, whatever, just put that in there. If you have it, you have it. Because Ritual would be a blowout.
Well, the thing is, if he plays Nicol Bolas and kills the Oko, then he's dead on board, right? So if you kill one of the 3/3s, you take 3, 4, 5, and you go to 3, and they still have an Oko. So it's like there's really
Right.
no great solution here. You can't play two things.
That's why I wasn't really happy with the Nicol Bolas. Because what are
Right,
you
that's what I
doing
mean.
with it?
Right, exactly. I felt the same way. Like, at least with Angrath, if your goal is to get Oko off the board, you can still play something else. You can still play a Fae of Wishes as a blocker, or you can still play an Narset or whatever.
All right, don't be a 4/4 with haste. Okay.
Still looking very bad for Oha the Card.
Yeah, because he can still... There's 5.
Well, it's 3 because we're killing the Nicol Bolas, which is not great, but also preferable to going to 3, I think.
So our draw now is
Yes.
Soot and Soot only.
So it would be actually good. You can kill every creature on the board and then respond with a Fae of Wishes.
Surely
Wow,
you
that's
see
great
the
too, because now
humor
you can
here.
kill that. That is
Fine.
not a Soot.
Well, he's dead. What does that do?
He's dead because even if he finds a Soot, he has to play the Blood Crypt untapped. And he didn't
And
even.
then-
There's not even 2 black sources up, so your options are very. Yeah, that's not good. Nope. This is the end. Yep.
Yep.
And
we're-
Dash Dude is going to take this game.
It seemed like there were some chances to win that.
I'm not sure. I don't feel like there were enough. He didn't have enough options. It feels like Oha the Cards Move just didn't have enough options. I do think of getting Nicol Bolas there was not ideal. I think there were probably some better options that left you with maybe Noxious Grasp even would have probably been a little bit better. Because
Yeah.
it kills every permanent and you gain that 1 life. And you could see like there that like they were at 3 after they played like Blood Crypt untapped, and going to 4 could make a difference against a board of 3/3s. But the problem is you just don't have a way to deal with the insurmounting the surrounding like amount of 3/3s and creatures that are being put to the board.
Yeah, and you saw in game 1 where the Fires deck just went crazy. It got the early Fires, was able to play pretty much anything it wanted to play, and it was a simple win. But up 1 game, and then also obviously Milwaukee is up 1-0 in the match. Game 2 was a little bit different. Game 2, Frank, like how much does it hurt to misplay and not play the red source there?
Yeah, that was rough. Not playing the red source, having to play Narset instead of Fires, not being able to cast a second spell that turn. That was brutal. And you can tell just by how quickly that Oha the Cards Move played their land that turn, that it was basically an autopilot decision where they're like, okay, take my turn, play my land, cast my oh, wait, I don't have a
Oh.
red source, right? Like, because you just assume, because your mana base is constructed in such a way that you should have 1 of each color at a certain point on turn 4, right?
Yep.
And when you look down and you don't, you're like, oh, I took this for
Boy.
granted, right? Like you're like,
Yeah.
oh darn it, I just assumed I would have all 4 or all 3 colors, and I did not, you know.
And that was just a super rough beat in game 2, especially up a game. And if he wins that second game, they win the match and they're undefeated. And then in game 3, we just saw a very interesting decision to wish for a Nicol Bolas, and it just didn't pan out. There just wasn't enough time that game to be able to make the Nicol Bolas work.
To really
right?
take advantage of it, right? Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I'll be honest, I am definitely susceptible to the allure of Nicol Bolas, for sure. Like, if there's a Nicol Bolas in my sideboard, search for that dude, and I can put him into play next turn.
Right?
I'm gonna want to do it, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean it's correct. I think there's definitely, like, if I'm gonna look for, hey, I'm gonna get a Nicol Bolas so I can kill their Planeswalker, and if a 2-mana card like a Noxious Grasp or an Angrass Rampage is gonna do the same thing for 2 mana instead of 5 and allow me to put something else on the board, that's probably just the better option in that situation.
Yeah, the big thing, what I'm seeing with these Fires decks, is it's really hard to play Wishes correctly, and I think that's just been in the history of Magic. Even when we had Cunning Wish, Living Wish, and all
Oh,
those,
for sure.
you know, it's so easy to make a mistake with what to wish for because you have to be thinking like 5 or 6 turns into the future. Like
Right,
when-
drawing cards in Magic is great. It's one of my favorite things. But when you get to a point where you get to choose which specific cards you draw, it's a lot harder. It's a skill that we don't usually have to exercise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the players who are really good at playing like birthing pod decks, who just know
Because you know exactly what to get at any given time.
right, yeah, and you just know the landscape of where you're at. And for the Fires
Right.
decks, it's the same way. It's like you have to just know, like, okay, here's where I have right now at this particular time on this turn. What is this going to look like on turn 5, right? Like, or 5 turns from now. And we saw that last week it was an issue, and this week it also ended up being an issue where just the wrong card ended up getting wished for, and when they actually played it, it didn't work out. So
Yeah,
now,
and I think it's definitely a skill set where you just have to, like, the more you practice it, the more you know exactly what your options are. But like a lot of times, if you're casting Fae of Wishes or Granted, I guess, and you don't know what you're going to get until you look, I think that's the wrong place to be. I think you want to know exactly what you're going to get before you cast it, and that just takes practice.
Yeah, and the thing too is that you have to remember this is still a team format. So there's 3 players who are here, and they are able to help you and talk to you and things like that. But you know, he's the only one playing this deck, so it's possible the other 2 players really don't know as much about how it works than he does.
Right,
And
exactly.
so this would be, I think, I'm interested to see one day, and if it comes up where we have like 3 decks that are all playing the Fires deck, and then you have like three pilots who, and they go, hey,
and they all know the best Fires
right?
decisions.
Yeah. That would be really interesting. But
And then,
right
like, because
now,
all his teammates are like, I don't know, man, I keep all
Yeah,
my
exactly.
all my Okos in the main deck.
yeah, the other players are playing mono red, so they're like, wait a minute, you just go get a fireball. Like,
Yeah, just go get your light of the stage, man. Just draw it. Just draw it naturally.
don't worry about that. So
That's what I do.
well, we are now tied 1-1. It is The Ohio State University taking match 2, and the Milwaukee School of Engineering taking match 1. We're going to go into our third match. One of these teams is going to start the season, stay undefeated, and the other is going to really rue the day that they missed out maybe on an opportunity, and that could be either one of these teams. But we're going to go into Game 3 right after the break.
A big thank you to our sponsor for this season, GameStop. GameStop is partnering with CSL in the 2019-2020 season to activate collegiate esports tournaments online and in person. Visit www.gamestop.com/esports for details about their GameStop Performance Center gaming clinics. GSPC gaming clinics are free for all players and give you an insider look at how the players you love to watch dominate the games you love to play. And remember, GameStop, power to the players.
It is now Game 3. One of these teams is going to stay undefeated. Will it be The Ohio State University? Will it be the upstart Milwaukee School of Engineering? It's all down to this. It is Bubbly Reaper with the mono red, has the one land mono red, says, nah, ship it. And this is
I wonder if I would have kept that, because you do have a 1-drop and then you have a light up the stage. I would have been real tempted to keep that hand.
I think that hand was very, very keepable. They didn't do it, but I understand.
Killing this goose on turn 1 is
That
legit.
feels good. That feels so good. Has the Calamity incoming. Turn 2 Paradise Druid. So
That's fine.
lots of options here. It's
You might just go
definitely not
Calamity. Oh, what were you going to say? It's not Calamity?
Yeah, I was going to say Calamity.
Because then next turn you have both these hasty guys. You can just play them
Right.
both. You can play Legion Warboss.
But I think the idea is play these now and just get the damage in. If he plays Oko next turn, you just play the Warboss and...
And they do, but they are tapped out. I guess they are going to make a 3-3 here, which is problematic.
Right, but are they going to attack with it?
Oh dear.
Or just block?
I don't think they're ever attacking.
Oh!
Wow. That is
Wow!
so aggressive.
That is aggro!
Oh, wow. Dang it. That 1-drop not having haste is pretty brutal.
Whatever. Warboss makes a 1/1 with haste.
Right, but like you said, you can play Cavalcade and 1-drop with haste and kill the Oko is the thing. Right now you're only dealing like... Oh, well... No, because now you're only dealing 4 to Oko, right?
Wait, why didn't we play Warboss? I'm confused.
Because I don't think this does more to the Oko. It deals 4 to the Oko.
Yeah, wait a minute. You know what Warboss does, right?
Yeah. Well, no,
Like-
Warboss is great. No, I don't disagree. But getting that Oko to 1 is pretty relevant because now you can probably kill it next turn. Whereas like
but-
if you just I think there's merit to both. I think there's merit to both plays. I don't think either one of us is just straight up wrong.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But it's one of those things where if you can play a turn 3 war boss and the token doesn't instantly die,
That's a
you
good point.
almost
Yeah.
always do it because then
I
next
think
turn,
another thing is to consider is that there's a lot of hasty creatures in this deck, and like if you can draw them, then you get the immediate effects of Cavalcade. So I don't know, but
well,
I guess
now
like
we're
having
just-
war bosses is already giving
Yeah.
hasty creatures. So
But we're
I don't know,
really
maybe it's war
behind
boss.
now. Yeah. Now what do we do though? There's a 3/3, a Wicked Wolf, Paradise Druid. We've got a couple of 1/1s. What are we even drawing here? What like War Boss comes in, the 1/1 will get blocked down by the wolf. Oh,
that's insanely
that
good. here.
is a draw. We can give it haste too.
Unfortunately, we can't see Bubbly Reaper's or Holly's hand this game. It looks.
Yeah, that's okay. That's probably a little bit better because now we can.
Now we have no perfect information, so we just have to. This actually does kill the Oko, which is pretty nuts.
Okay, so we
It's-
get.
Oko's going to 1. They only get to trade with a 1/1 here. Get to deal the last point to Oko, which is very, very strong at this particular point right now. So
Yeah, because otherwise we will have that same problem. We're not able to get rid of that wolf because there's just too much food every turn, and
So-
we just have to.
You're too close-minded.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say like to what we were talking about earlier in the deck discussion.
Oh no!
That's rough because now you get to make
Now
the
3/3,
Spitfire
yeah.
3/3 for sure. That's so frustrating. Like, wait.
Oh, I
did
thought he
they
was gonna make the. I thought he was gonna make the food a 3/3.
Did they not make Chandra's Spitfire a 3/3?
No.
That's insane because now you can go War Boss. You're attacking with the 2/1/1s. They deal 2 to the face. Chandra Spitfire becomes a 7/3.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of
Oh,
damage.
there it is. There it
Oh,
is. Okay.
I thought they used it already.
After
Okay, that
attacks.
seems- Yep, that's much
That's
better.
much better.
That's a correct play.
And here, incoming war boss.
The problem is like if you alpha and attack Oko, like they just kill you.
Die.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just kill you on the crack back. Like God, food tokens and infinite strings of 3/3s and being able to negate your best threats. Is just
All right.
just
Wait. What? Everything needs to go to Oko, except the. Wait. What? 3. Oh yeah. We have the cavalcade. Got it.
rough though. Like they can just block the 3/3 with the Paradise Druid if they really need to. And then Oko
And-
doesn't die.
And then they do die.
Yeah, I mean they can block with Legion War Boss, but it's not great. Oh
Right, it's
no,
not-
because then they just make the food into a
A
3/3. They block
right.
a 3/3, take 8. Yeah, that's game. Unless Holly misplays, and I
Yeah, I think
don't
she's got
think
this.
yeah, I think she's got this, especially because that post combat turn your Chandra Spitfire into an Oko was a choice play there. So
I like it.
Oko lives. They have 1 blocker. Yeah, this is going to be the end of time.
It's a
This is
wrap.
the end of days.
It is a wrap. And
It is how we say a rap.
yes, in my country we call this a wrap.
How you say a rap. Yeah, that's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like,
and
nah, it doesn't matter. You can pick which 3/3 you want. It's
yeah.
oh boy, Exaxes. Oh god. Sometimes
hate
you
to
just
see it.
can't be more aggressive than the blue-green deck I get.
Sometimes the
That's-
blue-green Simic deck is more aggressive than your mono-red deck.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
Sorry about
It's
that,
just
Wendy.
It's the world we live in right now.
Yeah, there was.
Oh, your 1/1s have haste? My 4/4 has.
Yeah, no biggie.
Of course it does. Why wouldn't it?
And I also have 3/3s that can attack you and sack for life, in case you're wondering.
Jesus. I also have a goose that can make me 3 life a turn.
Oh,
Is
man.
is me gaining life bad for you? I didn't know. I had no idea.
Do we cut a land here? This is the deck that's only playing the 1/4 drop, right? Like,
Yeah, that's
cut a
true. It's
land?
only one of a Torbran, and I think one of the other decks had like 19 lands.
yeah, I
And
think I
two-
just cut. I think I cut a land, and I bring in.
Lava Coil seems very good here.
Yeah, Lava Coil is very good. So I bring in Lava Coil. I want Jaya's Greeting a lot too because it's an instant and it does that 3 damage, so it gives you some really interesting things to do against Wicked Wolf. There's a lot of options here.
Like Lava Coil being able to kill.
Wait, he's just clicking done? No, don't do that.
Also,
bring
did
in
he
Lava
board
Coil.
2 Lava Coils out?
Wait, what?
I thought there were 2 lava coils in the main deck, were there not? I don't
Uh,
know. The fact that there were 2 mono red decks, so I might be getting Bubbly Reaper.
Well, either way, there's still
confused.
4 lava coils in the sideboard. And that,
Right. So no matter how many they had in deck initially.
Okay, so they did not bring in Bubbly Reaper. Did not bring in lava coil. Did not bring in any of the extra burn, and maybe because he's on the play.
That might actually be reasonable. Like you just want to maximize how much attacking you're doing. But like as we saw in round 1, like it's definitely losing game 1 is not an indication of the match for sure. I would want to. This is fine. You're probably not going to hit very many more lands, and you have a great 1, 2, 3 card.
Yeah, and I definitely, I mean, personally, I would have sided out one of the lands. I don't know, obviously, if one of those lands is in our hand, but you know, with 4, you don't want to see another land for the rest of this game.
Correct.
Ever.
Right. You're good. You're like, I'm good to go. Let's just let's roll out them spells from here on out. But like the Bone Crusher Giant's great because it lets you kill anything they play on turn 2, including a Paradise Druid if they activate it. So.
Right, and all I know is that I just want to Mana Severance my whole deck right now. Oh no!
Oh, that's interesting.
That beast!
Boo.
He's love struck, bro.
Boo, that's awkward. Actually, this is fine. If they can't deal with Calamity, wow.
But that's a nice. I mean, turn 1, 1/1, turn 2 Calamity. We're doing it, and then we can shoot the 1/1, right?
Yeah, you can. I don't know if it's worth it though, because even Lovestruck Beast being a 5/5
Right,
blocker
just
is
being there.
such a speed bump. Like that dude is just huge. Oh, they're not gonna play anything on turn 2.
Oh,
That's actually really good
That's-
for us.
really good
I say
because
us,
now
It's
Yeah.
it's funny because you often take the it tends when you're casting like this, you tend to take the position of the person you're speaking from. Like we're obviously seeing the board from Bubbly Reaper's side, so that's kind of like the identity we're taking.
And well, you can't really beat when you have Chandra and you have the Calamity going. It is a really nice thing, especially it is now only going to be turn 3, and Holly is sitting at a mere 11 life with just a 1/1.
Yeah, and this Cavalcade of Calamity is very strong. A 1/2 Hydra just to get rid of this Tin Streak.
Got him.
That's a desperation move if I ever saw one. It does get the job done, and now we have
Yeah.
a 1/2 on board that can block mostly anything.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like, even if they just keep using Chandra 0 to attack for 2,
You'll
you're
just
still
die.
taking 2.
Yeah.
And it's very possible to just Bone Crusher Giant this guy, play the 2 hasty creatures. I guess
Show
Goblin
town.
Bannerite doesn't have haste. You can play your whole hand out basically this turn. So
Oh, wants to kill the
Him-
1/1.
I would have went with the 1/2 there because I think I
Yeah.
don't think the attacking for the Lovestruck Beast is relevant.
No.
And
Yeah, I would
you
definitely-
want to maximize not like losing your guys. Like if they just have the
Yeah.
1/1, they're trading, and you're gonna
Right.
blank their board. Now they just get to eat a guy every turn.
Yeah, and this is not good.
Yeah, I think that was a mistake. Because now you just lose your now you just lose your Scorcher,
Yeah, and we'd have an extra. We'd have
Have
an
an
extra
extra body.
1. Yeah.
or they would have nothing.
Well,
on board.
no. They would have nothing on board. They wouldn't. Yeah. And here's the questing. Uh-oh. My Chandra!
Beast.
My Chandra.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Well, rough beat.
Yeah, like again, if they didn't have Voracious Hydra on board, like I think we'd be better. Because now
Yeah,
you could at least pump this Goblin Banner at twice and trade with the Questing Beast.
Well, you know what
Um,
else I wish I had? I wish I had Lava Coil.
Play the land.
Wait, he's already into his attacks.
Yeah, that's rough. No, don't do this for 1.
No.
Yeah,
Just
just
out.
play the land
man.
because you want to be able to pump it. Don't value hidden information there when you actually have an onboard use for that extra land.
Right, because he can just pump it twice next turn.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then like you don't have any. Again, like I think this Voracious Hydra should not be on the board. I
And
don't think
Holly-
the 1/1
listen,
was relevant.
Holly is still at 6, so it is not like there is a situation where Holly's like, oh, I've got this game. It's wrapped up now. She's got a
Right.
block, and
She is one scampering Scorcher away from death, right?
From
Like,
death,
'cause that's
right.
that's 3 power on board. All 4 of those creatures, except for the Bone Crusher, are going to put her to 2, and then there's 5 attackers and 3 blockers. So
why are we blocking?
I guess we can trade.
That's horrible. Wait, what?
Shock is interesting. Oh,
Uh,
actually, this is good. You can take out the Hydra, and then attack with the Giant. I think you're just
Yep,
attacking.
there we
here
go.
because damage is 2. Putting Holly to 2 instead of 6 is so insanely relevant. But I'm pretty sure you just block here because you have so many other things that are going to
And
put bodies on
now-
the board between Nissa, Lovestruck Beast, etc.
Well, you're in trouble now because it's Nissa versus nothing in
Nothing.
hand.
Nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, there could be a situation where Holly passes out. She's no longer at the computer. Bubbly Reaper draws Scorching Scamper and just kills them on board with nothing. That seems like it did not happen.
Yeah, I don't. Here's the problem. Bubbly Reaper played this mono red deck. Played the mono red deck like a different deck because they didn't play this as like your opponent Holly is at 6. How do I do 6 damage? Right? Like they blocked a 3-power creature. Like that's no. That is a big no. We don't do those.
Rob,
things.
unfortunately, it looks like the Milwaukee School of Engineering is going to suffer their first loss.
It turns out that Simic Food is still very good.
It's still very good. Mono red, still solid, but definitely not easy. It's not a super easy deck to play.
No,
I think
it
people,
is not.
Yeah, people confuse the fact they're like, well, you're just turning sideways with dumb idiots and burning their face. And I'm like, it's very. You have to. There's so many things you have to weigh. Like, is it better to shoot your face or kill your creature? Will I get more damage in this way or that way? What's the best sequencing? Like a lot of basic magic abilities, like sequencing or prioritizing your damage. A lot of those abilities that you don't necessarily have to worry about as much in other decks, they're so pivotal in mono red decks because every point of damage is important.
It's one of the things that this deck here for Bubbly Reaper ran into sequencing. And then also, when we saw the Fires deck running into sequencing issues with their lands, and this is one of those times, and if we just think about it, so for Holly, clean sweep here. Game 1 was a situation where it's just the quest, these extra questing beasts are just really
bonkers.
It is so rough for the mono red deck to deal with that. And what do you do when the blue-green deck is just going bigger than you, right? Like
I would love to be in the design meeting for that guy. Like you look at the file right that they have on that guy, and they're just like, add something else to it. Okay, I'll add this ability, and they're like, all right, add another one. And then they're like, all right, when is enough? What is enough for this creature?
Give me some Mo. It's got trample, vigilance. Give me some Mo.
Give me some Mo.
Yeah, it's just unreal how good card that beast is. And then in game 2, we saw that there was just some interesting trades. Like we both were talking about killing the 1/2 as opposed to killing the 1/1, and
I think that would have made a difference.
Yeah, I think it makes a big difference. I think there was also that situation where the trade, I wasn't really too happy trading our one card that could pump something, and maybe I think that card is very good. It has trample, right? Like the goblin.
I don't think so. I don't think it has. Maybe it does actually.
I think it does. It doesn't have haste. I know that. Like because it has.
No,
mentor.
It doesn't have haste. It has mentor instead.
It has mentor. Yeah. So, but there's. I just wasn't happy trading. I'd rather say, okay, how do I win this game, right?
No trample, just +2/+0.
Right. The only way to win this game at that point is, okay, she's at 6. So I have a 1/1 on board, so she's at 5. Okay? So I need 5 more damage somewhere. And if you trade, now you need 6 damage somewhere, and that's just not a thing, right? Like
I think one of the first rules you want to keep in the back of your head when you're playing this red deck is that you are not the blocker.
Right. You don't. If you're blocking, you're losing.
Yeah, that's 100% correct, and especially if you're the red deck.
Yeah, and granted, I'm also, if we go into the sideboarding options, didn't bring in any of the fire. Didn't have Lava Coil, and
right, and like that's one of the, like I know you don't want to be playing cards that don't go to the face, but you need to get rid of Questing Beast. Like it's just the truth. You just have to do it. It's a
right. What is Lava Coil there for if it's not for
if it's not for this? Yeah, unless like even if you go turn to get rid of your Golden Goose, I think that's still good. Like it's still
it's perfectly fine. You've got you would have Shock, you would have Lava Coil. You could also play not Set the Stage, the other one that does 3 damage. That's,
the Jayas.
No, well, Jayas, obviously, like, we can definitely be playing Jayas, but I'm thinking about the other one that has Spectacle. Skewer the Critics, right?
Yeah.
Because Skewer the Critics gives us that possibility that we saw in one of our other matches where you can attack with a 1/1, and if they block with the Beast, you can take it down.
Yeah, you can finish it off, right.
And then when you do that play, it sets up really cool plays later on where maybe they don't want to block, and you get that extra point of damage in.
And I feel like I'm just repeating it, but like if you have Torbran, I think Torbran is your reach. Like that is a dude you want in conjunction with your Cavalcade. And I think only playing one, it feels like it's not as strong.
Yeah,
Right.
and that,
I want to lean less heavily on my 1/1s and more heavily on my Torbran. That's going to make them 3/1s essentially.
well, and that is the deck too. So I think this is a week where we're seeing some of the players just didn't have all the cards. I can't imagine making a conscious decision to play like less than 4 Goose or less than 4 Nissa or less than 4 Torben. Like I don't think that was a conscious decision. I think that was maybe, hey, we just didn't have all the cards for this or whatever it is. And but let's put a good congratulations with Ohio State. Okay.
No, I think
Ohio
both teams
State-
played great. Like they did the best with their decks, and I think these are some fun matches to watch. It was very nice not seeing 6 blue-green decks of some form, and I really respect, Milwaukee School of Engineering for not just taking the run-of-the-mill blue-green decks. I think it was a great choice to play 2 red decks and a Fires deck. That seems like it's super fun.
So yeah, it was really nice to be able to see some different decks because we've seen so much Simic food. We've seen just, I mean, over and over again, mirror match after mirror match. And it's nice to see these mono red decks coming through. And let's be real. If in that game 2, the Fires deck doesn't misplay and just puts down the Blood Crypt, it could have just been a 2-0 for
It could have been a
Milwaukee.
different game. It could have been a totally different game. Yeah, I agree.
So it is really close, and Milwaukee's definitely going to go home and be like, "Oh, we had this.
I hope they go easy on each other because like Magic's super hard, and no one plays perfect Magic, right? So like don't beat yourself up if you like have a specific moment in mind where you're like, I wish I played this differently. I wish I did this. I played this card instead. Don't, especially on team events, because you're gonna worry that you cost your team. But it's not true. Like you're all in it together, and I think it's very important to remember that everyone makes mistakes when you're playing a game of Magic for sure.
Well, and you don't lose a team match because you lose one match. Okay, it's 2 matches.
Correct.
So
It's
though
no one match is more important than the others.
Yeah, and again, I do feel bad for the one team member that just misplayed a land, but that is a learning process, and we talk about this every single week on the show. Is when you've played Magic for years and years and years, you are going to punt a lot. You will. It is just the nature of pressure, or high pressure Magic. It's the nature of just playing a lot of games. You're going to get mana screwed a lot. And you just have to find a way to get out of those holes without tilting and just learn from it. And for Milwaukee, they still only have 1 loss in the season. And it's
for
a
sure.
long season,
If you can come away from this and say, okay, I did this in the game 2 or game 3, wherever you made your mistake, I need to be more vigilant about this next time. It's something I want to correct and I want to work on. I think that's almost more important than winning a match, to be honest with you. I know it sounds it's silly and cliche, right? But like the real rewards are the lessons we learned along the way.
It's what they call in like traditional sports, it's a good loss, right? Because you want to do this now. You want to do this in like week 3.
In your early moments, right? Instead of like in the games that really matter. You know what I mean?
Right. Imagine if you make that play and it's the grand finals, you're playing
Super
on the main
Bowl.
stage, and you misplay and it's a $5,000 mistake. Okay.
Exactly.
That would hurt. So now, when you make that mistake now, it just burns into the back of your head. You're just
correct.
Like,
Make that loss at FNM and not at the Pro Tour. Just remember, like I was drafting with a friend once. This was years and years ago, and he made a mistake while we were playing, and it was just a super friendly, casual draft, right? And he was like, "Oh, I should have done this instead." And I was like, "Oh, you can take it back." And he's like, "No, I don't want to, because if I don't take it back, like I'll just never do it again."
Right. And we do that in playtesting.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at that.
Yeah, when we are playtesting for the Pro Tour, like some players don't like playtesting with me as much, because when I playtest, I like to make it like if you make a mistake, you have to live with it, because I want it to. We can always play another game, okay? But making a mistake that loses you the game just burns into your
for sure.
soul. And
for sure. And like you don't want to get into the habit of playing your game in a way that lets you think you can have a take back. You know what I mean? Like I want to play every game as if I can't take anything back, because that's the way it's going to be.
Right. Practice like you play. But Frank, I want to thank you so much for coming by. I know the games are super fast, so you're already on your way.
I can go do more stuff, man. I got things to do.
We'll just record another show.
Dude. This was great. I had a blast, and hopefully we can do it again soon.
Well, we can do some Disney Plus now. So it's
Oh,
all
we're casting
about,
that next?
yeah, we're just sorry everybody at home, Twitch chat. You didn't know we were just going to start streaming Aladdin. No, we're not doing that.
Round 1, The Mandalorian versus Darkwing Duck.
Oh, I heard a Darkwing Duck is on there. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But for everybody at home, Frank, they want to be able to find you. How can they find you on social media or what website, all that?
I stream 5 times a week on Twitch at least. I'm at twitch.tv/Frank Lepore. Pretty much everything is /Frank Lepore. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can find me on all of the social media platforms, basically, or twitch.tv. YouTube.com/Frank Lepore. It's just my name afterwards, and it's pretty easy to find. You can also find new articles from me every week on Wednesday at coolstuffinc.com. Be sure to check there as well.
Well, we will make sure we go and check that out. It's been another great week of action. We had another awesome guest with a fabulous, beautiful beard that I cannot grow because I just am unable to.
Get out of here. You get out of here.
I literally cannot grow facial hair. It just is a thing. It's a genetic defect, but whatever.
I think once you get a little older, it'll be fine.
Yeah, once I hit 50.
You haven't peaked yet,
then. Yeah, I'm still, still working my way up.
Life.
And hey, these teams, though, are also working at peaking. Ohio State is now continues to be undefeated, #1 in the Northeast 1 division, and then Milwaukee School of Engineering does get that first loss, but still very much in contention. Again, it's a very, very long season, and maybe by the time that this comes out, maybe Wizards will decide that Oko or Wolf is just too much.
In case you guys watching weren't sure, the blue-green decks are strong.
They're good when they're blue-green. They're good when they're blue-green-black. They're good when they're blue-green-white. We just don't see blue-green-red.
It doesn't matter what you add to the blue-green, as long as it's got the blue and the green.
That's right. Well, let's add some red next week and see how that goes. But it's been a pleasure working with you this week, Frank. And again, hopefully we see you again. And for everybody at home, it will be the same time next week. We will have 2 more schools who are looking to get a stranglehold in their division and work their way to that grand finale, which is going to come up on us before we know it. I've been your host, Rob Gonzalez, otherwise known as Rob AJ.